In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act, 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. Before I continue with my remarks, a few introductions. First, our panel. On my far left, Ms. Natalia Popovic. On my immediate left, Mr. Dominic Gully. On my near right, Mr. Stan Komorik. And on my far right, Ms. Sophia Ruddick. At the far left end of this desk is our Deputy Secretary Treasurer, Ms. Barb Bartosik. And in front of us and on the far right-hand end of the desk is Barbara's support staff. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that applies to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. We acknowledge the land we're meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their presentations in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone, and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you're called on to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelist when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5 minutes allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies, as those terms are defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. Our hearing procedure is that I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda, with the exception of situations where the applicant has requested deferral, and we will dispense with those up front and then proceed with the rest of the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, Applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised, to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals, either in support or opposition to the application, will be invited to speak. Generally, we call first on speakers in the hearing room, and then we invite those who are participating through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The applicant will then be taken into committee for a decision. I would ask firstly of our panel, are there any declarations of interest on the afternoon agenda? And the same question of staff, are there any declarations of interest for items in this afternoon agenda? No, okay. Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, have you received any requests for deferral?
Yes, items 19 and 20, and I believe 21 will be asking for one, but we'll get to that after.
So 21 needs to be confirmed?
Yes, but it'll be right off. It's the first one after the other two.
Oh, of course. All right. Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, could we handle items 19 and 20 with a single motion? Okay. So items 19 and 20 deal with, well, 19 deals with 1199 Islington Avenue, and number 20 deals with 1201 Islington Avenue. And the agent for both is Justin Gianu. And I believe I think the owner is the same.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is that Justin speaking?
Yes, it is.
Thanks for helping me out, Justin. Okay, could you tell us why you want to defer these items from today's agenda?
Through your chair, we're deferring these two items because we weren't able to get the signs posted in time for the committee meeting today. There was a mix-up with the signs, and we had to get them. We weren't able to get them up in time.
Okay. Panel, any questions? Is there anyone in the hearing room that came to speak to either items number 19 or 20? Okay. And you two gentlemen? Okay, could you approach, sir, could you please approach the podium first? Tell us your name and address.
John Saturno, 160 Meadowvale Drive. It's right next door to these two properties.
Okay, so as you've just yeah, sorry, it is distracting, isn't it? We've been asked to defer this item from today's agenda, which
I just pressed the red button. Is that it?
Okay, I'm just going to speak as loudly as I can and try and not be distracted. It's very difficult for me, but I'm going to try. If we grant the deferral that's been requested by the applicant, we would not be hearing this application today. So in other words, we won't be considering the merits of the application. My question to you, sir, is do you agree with deferring this and not considering it on today's agenda, realizing or acknowledging that it will be heard at a later date and notice will be given in advance and that you will have an opportunity to speak at that time if you wish? The alternative is no, you don't want it deferred, you want it heard today.
I could say just a short, I could say something today if it's valid.
No, we're not interested in hearing what you have to say other than whether or not you agree with the deferral.
I guess I can do that.
So you're okay?
Deferral, yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. And
don't
now
know
two gentlemen back here wish to speak to this item as well.
Good afternoon.
So same story, yeah, if you can introduce yourself by name and address, and then you heard what I just said about the deferral. Okay, go ahead.
My name is Nick Beerus. I live at 30 Moncton Avenue. Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Young, and I live at 28 Moncton Avenue.
Okay,
Our two properties, the rears of our property back onto 199 and 1201 Islington Avenue.
okay. So my question again is, do you agree with a deferral to a later date?
Yes.
Okay. So then I think, is there anyone, that's fine, thank you. Do we need to hear from anyone online, Camille? Just the agent. Okay, so panel, I think it's back to us now. We can go into committee and we can consider a single motion on whether or not to defer items 19 and 20.
Okay, I'll move a motion to defer, given that there's a lack of proper notice given. So it'll have to come back at a later date.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Komorek. Is there a seconder for Mr. Komorek's motion? Thank you, Ms. Popovic. All in favor? Okay, items 19 and 20 are deferred to a hearing at a later date. The next item is number 21, 57 GAYDON Avenue. Purpose is to construct a second-story addition above the existing dwelling, an existing detached garage, a new two-story west side addition connecting the main dwelling with the existing detached garage, a new two-story front addition, and a new second suite in the basement. A similar application was refused by this committee on August 15th, 2024, almost a year ago to the day. We have 7 letters of opposition, and we have 3 persons registered to speak, 2 virtual and 1 in person. And Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, you mentioned that this might be a candidate for deferral?
I believe the agent reached out to someone in our staff and said that they would be requesting a deferral, so we can ask the agent.
So I'll ask the agent to confirm that. Yeah, sure, okay. So, Mr. Saruj Kalustian,
Hi, Mr. Chair.
can you speak up, please?
Yes, can you hear me?
Barely. If you can speak as loudly as you can.
Sure, no problem.
And I'll just point out that for next time, you didn't register to speak today, so we'll allow you to perform your role today, but next time, please register in advance.
Mr. Chair, I had spoken with Paul from committee, and I was registered to speak today. So
Okay,
I was aware of that.
I have wrong information then. Anyway, that's not really important for now.
That's fine.
So do you wish to defer this item from today's agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We
Can you
request.
explain why? Yeah.
Well, this is our second hearing for this application, and we had made some revisions and eliminated quite a bit of variances, but there still seems to be opposition from the exact same neighbors. So the point of the deferral is to set up a meeting with them just to clarify, make sure there's no misunderstanding of all the changes that we've made, so that there's a clarification and everybody's aware of exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, and I'll just give you some friendly advice. Just in looking at the variances that you were requesting a year ago and comparing them with the variances that you had requested today, very little difference. So I'm not surprised the neighbors are having difficulty changing their minds from rejection a year ago to acceptance today. So I think your challenge is to be very clear as to, I guess in your mind, why this is significantly different from what you applied for a year ago. And you're also going to have to convince this panel because it did refuse this application a year ago. But that'll be for a later date. So anyway, for now, you have requested deferral. Panel, any questions or comments before I speak to some of the interested parties?
Chair, I just wanted to ask the agent whether or not in his deferral he will address the issue of coverage with respect to porches, and whether that would cover that or whether it would exclude them, or any explanation to that effect when you're dealing with the issue of coverage.
If I can clarify that a little bit, your lot area, you're requesting a variance of 31.45% for lot area. But if you include your covered porches, you would actually need a variance of 36.68. And we're not sure whether you shouldn't be including those porches or not. What is your understanding of that?
Well, I'm usually in the bylaw, there's a 5% allowance for porches beyond the coverage requirement. So generally, when the zoning examiner mentions the 31.45%, that's generally the variance, and then there's additional allowance for coverage on porches, and that's why it's not highlighted.
Yeah, you've got more than one porch here, so that's generally not the case in most applications.
But it falls within the bylaw requirement of the 5%. That's why it's not included. But if you combine it together, we are 1.45% over the requirement, which was, by the way, reduced from 33% from our last hearing. I do also want to make a clarification. I think, Mr. Chair, you mentioned that there wasn't quite too many changes, but in the previous notice of decision, there were 9 variances that were being requested, and we brought it down to 4.
Well, I appreciate that, but I think my sense of the concerns of the neighbors are things like coverage, which changed minimally. Rear yard setback did not change. Main wall height did not change. These are the kinds of things that I expect people in the neighborhood are concerned about. I know that you eliminated a number of the soft landscaping variances, but I'm just giving you some free advice. I think you need to explain why this is so much better than the one a year ago.
Well, Mr.
I'll
Chair,
let you interpret what I mean by saying that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. To be honest, it was a little challenging because if you watch the YouTube video of the previous hearing, based on the refusal from the committee or rejecting or not approving this application, there was not a good enough justification or explanation of what the reasoning was, other than it's just mentioning too much house. So it was very complicated for us to actually figure out what the main variance issues were. So we did make changes. We have reduced the coverage. The rear setback number is...
Sir, sorry, I'm going to stop you there. We're starting to get into the merits of this matter, and that's not appropriate. We're here to decide on whether or not you, well, you do want to make a deferral. We need to
That's
get
right.
some support from some of the people that have shown up to speak to this matter. And you can make those arguments. You know, I would review your notes from a year ago. I appreciate the decision does not fully elaborate on the panelists who opined on this at the time, but I'm presuming that you took notes and have a sense of what the problem was. Anyway, again, we're getting into the discussion of the merits. We're not here to do that, so.
And Mr. Chair, I would just like to make a comment to the applicant. Since he's asking for a deferral, there have been some concerns raised by the neighbors about the sign posting. So I do recommend for the applicant that when you do get rescheduled, you post the sign properly, the right size, the right materials, visible to the street, so that there are no concerns from your neighborhood. The instructions are sent to so you will have to post the sign properly, otherwise you could risk a deferral again down the road.
Okay, so we have 3 people that are on my list that wish to participate, 2 virtual and 1 in person. So could I have hands up from the person that, yes, sir? If you, and you as well, sir? Okay, you come up first, please, to the podium. And you can give us your name and address, but before you do that, just a reminder, similar to the last 2, we're not dealing with the merits of this application today. We're dealing with the applicant's request to defer it and not consider it today. It'll be considered at a later date. So once you give us your name and address, I'm going to ask you the question, do you or do you not agree with deferring this today?
Okay. My name's John Olson, 46 GAYDON Avenue.
So across the street and a little bit down.
Like, yeah.
Okay. So are you agreeable to a deferral today?
No.
You're not. You wish it to be heard.
Yes.
And why is that?
Well, I'm a contract employee, so I had to take 3/4 of today off, so I'm losing money to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also retired.
You're what?
I'm retired, but I'm working.
Okay.
My Trudeau pension isn't quite enough.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the
We'll note your preference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And there's someone else that wishes to speak to the item? Sir?
Hi, my name is Walter Delator. I live at 51 GAYDON Avenue, which is right beside the individual's property. I could defer it. It really doesn't make a difference to me, as long as hopefully in the future it gets denied again.
So, sir, you're okay with the deferral?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the hearing room that wants to speak to this item? No? And Camille, I have 2 people virtual. Are they both interested in speaking?
We have 2
Salvatore
people.
Castiglione,
That's correct. I'll get them online.
and then Alan Philippe. Okay, so first, Mr. Castiglione.
Yes, hello, Mr. Chair. Yes, I don't mind deferring it, but as mentioned before, nothing has really changed. It's very minor things have changed.
Okay, so you're okay with the deferral?
Yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Philippe? See the last one? Okay.
Yes, hi, I'm fine with the deferral. That's okay.
And sir, your address, please?
It's 45 Strathburn Boulevard.
Right. Okay, so panel, we have a request for deferral by the applicant. We have 3 neighbors in agreement with that and 1 opposed to that, 1 wishing that we would proceed today because he's taken time out to be here and he'd like to have it dealt with. Do you want to use mine?
Sorry, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, sorry, having heard people's opinion on the deferral, I believe the majority would prefer to do the deferral. I think it's in the interest of the neighborhood to try to get something that's more acceptable to them, or at least a better, in the view of the applicant, a better understanding of what is being proposed. So I see some merits in doing the deferral, and I would like to move to defer.
Thank you, Mr. Comark. Is there a seconder for Mr. Comark's motion?
Second, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Gully. All in favor? Okay, the request for deferral is approved. Moving on to item 22, 9 GLENADEN Avenue East. Just do a little summary here. Too many buttons. The purpose with respect to 9 GLENADEN Avenue East is to construct a new 1- and 2-story rear addition. There are 4 variances. We have urban forestry condition 2. It's a revised application. We have a 4-signature support letter and a presentation, but I'm going to ask my colleagues if anyone requires or desires a presentation, or do we treat it as straightforward? Straightforward? Good, okay. So let's talk to the agent. Daniel Vincani.
Good afternoon, Chairman.
Good afternoon. Sir, this is a very straightforward application in the panel's view. Are you agreeable to not making a presentation and leaving it up to questions if we have any?
Of course.
That's good?
Yes, it's good.
Okay, so panel, questions, comments? Or we can entertain a motion.
Chair, I'm prepared to make a motion on this matter. There are 4 variances before us. One relates to a facade, one relates to coverage, the other 2 relate to side yards. I believe that all 4 variances that are being requested are indeed minor. They are necessary. They're appropriate for the development of the site. In my view, all 4 individually and collectively are minor. They meet the test. I'm going to move approval, authorization of the 4 variances subject to urban forestry condition number 2.
Okay, before I invite a seconder, I was remiss in not asking if there's anyone in the hearing room that wanted to speak to this item? No? No one at home? Camille? Okay. So, seconder for Mr. Gully's motion?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. All in favor? It's approved unanimously. I'm going to treat your hand as being up because you made the motion. Okay. Item 23. 42 Claymore Drive. Purpose is to construct a 2nd-story addition above the existing dwelling, a 2-story rear addition, and a covered porch in the rear yard. There are 2 variances. We have no city department comments or conditions. We have no correspondence from neighbors. Panel, may I suggest that we treat this as straightforward? Okay. Antonella Froni-Wild is the agent.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Are you agreeable with not presenting and answering any questions that we have in lieu?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, let's do that then. So panel, questions, comments?
Unless there are any questions, Chair, I'm prepared to move this. There are only 2 variances before us today.
Okay, before I invite a seconder, Mr. Comark, did you have a question or comment? Use my mic.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a comment that it could be helpful to have a clearer picture on the plans which part is the addition and which part is the original, because I'm having a hard time distinguishing. But other than that, I find the application to be the quintessential definition of minor.
Okay, then. So I'll invite a seconder to Mr. Gully's motion then.
So Chair, I did want to speak to the item before I make the motion, and the reason I'm making the motion to approve is there are two variances. One relates to FSI, the other relates to length. Both are minimal in terms of impact. There is no impact from going from an FSI of 0.45 to 0.51. Similarly, lengthwise, from 17 meter to 17.6. Move approval with no conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Gully. Seconder, Mr. Komarek, I thank you. All in favor? That application is approved unanimously.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 24, 87 38th Street. We have an application for consent and two applications for minor variance, one application for each of the proposed parts. We have Urban Forestry requesting deferral initially, and then on August 5th, offering as an option their conditions 1 and 2. We have planning is okay, clearance, a Metrolinx advisory, a development engineering and transportation review advisory, 12 opposition letters, 2 opposition presentations, 5 registered participants, and we will not be treating this as straightforward. So, let's hear from the agent, Patrick McAuliffe.
Hear me? Hello?
Hello?
This is Patrick Hollis. Hello?
Hello, could you try
Can you
and
hear me?
speak as loudly as you can?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So since the Urban Forestry has requested that this be deferred, and since I can't get anywhere without Urban Forestry because I can't even get my conditions completed, and I can't get a certificate of, or I can't get the zoning certificate without the clearance letter, I'm going to go along with their request for deferral so that I can get my arborist in touch with them and work out, we can solve the problems.
I think
So therefore, I'm asking for a deferral as well.
Mr. Chair, can I make a comment?
Yeah, yeah.
Forestry as an alternative has proposed conditions 1 and 2 be imposed in the event we don't defer. So it's not an absolute, but if you feel that that's the way you want to go.
Well, the letter from Urban Forestry pretty well said that they have no intention of giving me clearance.
Okay, and presumably you need some time to speak with neighbors as well. A lot of opposition to this.
I have no intention of getting rid of the tree. I don't want to get rid of the tree. So I have to figure out some way to get this built with the tree still there. And I'm not going to be able to do this unless I have clearance from Urban Forestry.
Okay, so we have a request for deferral. Any other questions? Yeah.
Patrick, other than the fact that you want to deal directly through an arborist with Urban Forestry, will you proceed given the number of correspondences the city and this committee has received on this item? Is part of that process of deferral for further consultations?
Well, see, the problem is that in order to complete the conditions of the committee, I have to end up having a clearance letter for Urban Forestry. So how am I going to get that if I don't have direct contact with Urban Forestry? And I would really like to have my arborist being the one to have that direct contact.
I understand. what you're saying, what you're telling us. Have you seen some of the letters from the community?
Yes, and I've seen them all, and I'm ready to defend all my positions, but I can't defend the tree issue. If you were to approve this today, and they decide that they're not going to give me a letter of clearance, then what do? I can't go any further.
Okay, you've read the letters, and you're making a valiant effort to deal with urban forestry. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm willing to downsize almost. I'm taking 3 issues off each item, and I can pretty well defend everything else regarding the severance and everything. But I just can't defend the tree issue right now because I have to be able to work something out to be able to keep that tree where it is and still build this addition or this house.
Okay, is there anything else, panel? So we have a request for deferral to enable consultation with urban forestry. We need to speak to everyone that registered to speak to this item. According to my list, all the participants are virtual. Is there anyone in the room that came here to speak to 87 38th Street? No? So I guess we can start going down our list and firstly invite Andy Choles.
Good afternoon. From the LBNA, 12 Jasmine Avenue is my address. I have no objection to the deferral. Hopefully he can respect the tree protection zone for that tree when he works on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Choles. Next up, we have Christine Mercado from Long Branch Neighborhood Association as well.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. We support the deferral, and we are open to speaking with the applicant about the variances that he wishes to work on, because, as you can see, we have a lot of data, and so we would like to work with him.
Okay. Stephen Vella.
Mr. Chair, Stephen's not online right now, so we can go down to Sandy.
Okay, well, we won't wait. If he's not available, we're just going to keep going. Sandy Donald?
Yes, I have no problems with deferral.
Okay. Now, I have one here, 83 38th Street with no name. Oh, Craig Aikenhead.
Hi there, committee members and chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I am also, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm also fine with deferral, and I'll echo Christine's comments about communication and consultation, especially as I am the direct neighbor to the south of these properties. Concerned about the trees and also many of these variances in the size of the property.
Thank you. And lastly, Catherine Adams.
Hi, Catherine Adams, number 70 37th Street, and I agree with the deferral.
Okay, thank you. So panel, I didn't ask after every name, but do any of you have any questions or comments from any of the interested parties? Okay, so I think we're ready then to go into committee for a decision on the request for a deferral.
Chair, I'm prepared to move a deferral of 8738th Street to a future date in order for the applicant to conduct further consultations with urban forestry and also to conduct any further consultations with the neighborhood as he or she sees fit.
Thank you, Mr. Gully. Is there a seconder for Mr. Gully's motion?
Second that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. All in favor? Item 24 has been deferred. Item 25 is 180 Queens Drive. This is an application for consent and an application for minor variance. This was deferred from the July 10th, 2025 hearing, and I don't think we have the decision, so I don't know why it was deferred, but anyway, we can ask the agent to clarify that. We have a Development Engineering and Transportation Review Advisory. We have 4 opposition letters. And in the additional materials, we received, we did get the previous minutes. And we also have a letter of opposition from the counselor. So let me just pull up the previous minutes. July 10th, 25. Move for deferral in order to provide the applicant with an opportunity to correct the public notice and identify all the required variances. Okay, so it appears to have just been driven by that proper notice. So, Rennie Cannon is the agent.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Rennie Cannon. I live at 324 Dury Street in Toronto, Ontario. I'm the architect and the agent for the owners at 180 Queens Drive.
Okay. If you could make a presentation, that'd be great.
Yeah, I had a presentation material submitted. I don't know if it's available to put up. There we are. So our proposal, it's to split an existing large 37 by 46 meter lot into 2 lots. The subject lot is zoned residential detached, and it's designated neighborhood under the official plan. The retained lot preserves an existing heritage-listed structure, fourplex in its entirety. The retained lot would require no variances. The conveyed lot would contain a new fourplex, essentially an as-of-right fourplex on a standard Toronto lot, but in this case it requires 7 variances. 5 of these stem from the existing building's unusually large, it's roughly about 22.5 meter front yard setback. It's far larger than the RD's stone standard 6 meters. The remaining 2 variances relate to building length of 19 meters, and we're looking for 2 platforms per unit on one side. Just if we go to the next slide, for context, the site's well connected, it's excellent transit access, it's walkable to retail, and it's well served by neighborhood schools. On the next slide, we have a context map shown in red. You can clearly see the anomalous setback at that scale. We provided satellite views with the proposed footprint in yellow to show how our building would align with the others in the neighborhood. On the next slide, we have a view of Pine Street looking east towards the existing site, and we have another street view from Queens Drive looking north towards the site, followed by a rendering from the same vantage point showing the proposal in context. The trees, although they're not shown here, would be preserved. On the next slide, we have a view from Pine Street. It's another rendering of the proposal. And below that, we have directly across the street, there is a 3-story side access multiplex with a 6 meter setback and a 22 meter length. We provide this precedence to demonstrate that our proposal is smaller and consistent with existing forms in the neighborhood, and it's not precedent setting, as some people have suggested. On the next slide, we've also provided satellite imagery showing that these similar developments have occurred gradually here over time. The multiplex across the street was constructed between 1947 and 1959, and a corner lot to the northwest was then subdivided and developed in 1977. I think we can skip the next 2 slides, which show the floor plan and kind of a site plan, and move to the 4 tests. We provided a block study. This was to show that the building is no larger, and in some cases it's smaller than the others in the area, including the multiplex across the street. The zoning bylaw allows multiplexes up to 19 meters on 40 meter deep lots, which is effectively the case here, given that we're retaining a 10 meter setback towards the rear. The length enables 3-bedroom family-sized units, which are much needed in this city. In terms of the 6 meter setback, we submit the block study to demonstrate that the existing physical character of the neighborhood is defined by a 6 meter front yard setback. Roughly 95% of the front yard setbacks within the neighborhood are approximately 6 meters. The 22.5 meter setback is an anomaly. It's the largest setback in the neighborhood. A 6 meter setback better reflects and reinforces the prevailing physical character of the neighborhood. And it's not surprising because the front yard setback in the RD zone itself is 6 meters. So a 6 meter front yard setback better aligns with the intent of the zoning bylaw. This variance is minor. There's no shadowing, there's no overlook or privacy loss here. There's no adverse impact on neighboring properties. And moreover, it's beneficial to both properties. There are numerous reasons why this variance is appropriate for the development of land. It preserves the driveway and access to the existing heritage listed structure. It preserves views to and from the existing heritage listed structure. It allows the preservation of parking on site. It allows a landscape buffer between both lots. It allows conventionally scaled front and rear yards, which are a benefit for both the ground floor units. It allows the rear ground floor unit to have a rear yard. It allows both structures' views while not compromising privacy. It allows the new structure effect to fill in the gaps here between the existing structure and the surrounding neighborhood. The 4 other variances were derived largely from the front yard setback. I don't want to get too much into them, but they would comply with zoning, except for the second floor platforms, if not for the front yard condition. And we're just looking for the second floor platforms, in effect, to give the second floor units a porch-like condition. So in conclusion, this proposal balances new housing with sensitive infill that respects and reinforces the neighborhood character. The retained lot preserves the heritage listed structure with no variances. The new fourplex adaptively reuses the lot. It provides much needed family-oriented rental housing, consistent with official plan guidelines, low-rise guidelines, and EHON objectives. Each variance here is technical, modest, or site-specific. Collectively, they meet all 4 tests. They are desirable, appropriate, minor in impact, and aligned with the intent of the zoning bylaw and the official plan. I think
Okay,
that's
thanks. Your time's up, so perfect.
okay. I'm happy to respond to any questions.
Yeah, if you can just stay there for a second. Panel, questions, comments? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So we have, I have 3 interested participants, all in person. Bruce Robb, Tony Cavicino, and Mary Hart. Are all 3 of you here? So I guess Bruce Robb's up first. And just before you speak, just an opening remark for all of you. Remember, if you don't know, 4plexes are allowed on all residential lots throughout the city of Toronto. So we're dealing with the consent and the minor variances only, and not issues related to the appropriateness of 4plexes, because they're allowed throughout. Okay, sorry. So your name and address?
Bruce Robb, pardon me, 183 John Street.
Okay.
And you have my letter there on your agenda, dated August 6, 2025. I don't think I need to go through it. It's quite clear. I have issues with the proposal, but I am asking for a deferral so that myself and other residents who oppose the applications can meet with the applicant, their architect, and try and work out a compromise, because I feel that a compromise with an alternate design, such as a larger, longer lot and relocating the green space within the subject lands, there's various options I think are possible that can reduce the front yard setback, variance that is, so increase the front yard setback and decrease the variance to something that's more palatable to the neighborhood, the residents. I'll leave that at that. One other question I have, I'm not sure whether planning is represented here, but in the report that was and if I can speak to this, obviously we're asking for a deferral, but in case the committee decides not to defer it, I do have a question. And that relates to the October 21st, 21 staff report, where staff recommended that the 180 Queens Drive property be included on the city's heritage register. There's a notation on the second page that says, heritage impact assessments are required for development applications that affect listed and designated properties. So the property is listed, the development application would be the severance, and then the variances within that severance. My question is whether a heritage impact assessment was provided. I didn't see one on the city's website. and whether planning has requested one or intends to request one, because I think that a heritage impact assessment would go a long way towards vetting the appropriateness of, in particular, the proposed fourplex that's proposed here, in a lesser sense of severance, but the whole proposal. A heritage impact assessment would look at it from a heritage professional's point of view to be able to assess the extent of impact, such as was referred to in the comments from the heritage planners, city heritage planner, and I've mentioned them, highlighted them in my comments. So I think that would be helpful. I'm not sure if it has or will be provided. And then lastly, if the committee does decide to hear it and make a decision, I recommend that it be denied on the basis that it doesn't meet the 4 tests under the Planning Act. The variances are not minor in nature, particularly the setback. It's not appropriate for the development of the lands. Those are the 2 main ones, and it only needs to fail 1, but those are my 2 points. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll just, I want to ask the Deputy Secretary Treasurer, we don't have any up-to-date information from planning or heritage planning. There was submissions made by both of them for the July 10th hearing. Is it their understanding or assumption that the comments made then still apply? Okay. So we'll just have to just bear with me for a second here.
So planning had no further concerns. There's an email that they were satisfied, that consultation had taken place and they were satisfied. And Heritage had an information report. So no conditions, no recommendation.
So Barb, does that mean that 180 is not on the heritage register?
It is, but it's not being touched. Like they're not demolishing the building.
Yeah, they're not changing it. But in terms of, okay, I mean, I know that Heritage does a great job at vetting all the issues related to, I'm just wondering in terms of visual aspects of 180 on the street, having the additional building. I guess they don't go to that extent of review. Their review deals specifically with the one building, and the one building is not being touched, regardless of the fact that maybe right from the corner, you may not be able to see it, and you may no longer be able to see the building if you're standing on the corner.
Yeah, there's no jurisdiction for view. Someone could put up a fence, someone could put up shrubbery that would eliminate it. It is a beautiful site, but unfortunately that's not something that the committee could
Thank you.
control.
Okay, thanks. Did anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Robb before I told him to sit down? No? We're good? Yeah. Okay, so next up we have Tony, is it Civicino?
Is this on? Yeah. So I am 190 Queens Drive. I'm Tony Civicino. My property is directly east of 180. I will make reference, first of all, to the comment about the visibility from the streetscape, because, you know, what I have in my hand to me is very important. And this was produced by your Heritage Urban Design Committee. I spoke this morning to Jamela Stapleton. She made me understand the process about, you know, their hands are tied. They don't have many tools to sort of present in regards to their opposition to this proposal. But to me, the sentence that is very important in this report was in the last paragraph in the analysis and rationale. And she explained to me why they put it in. It was a statement, and I'll read it. Heritage planning staff do, however, note that increasing the front yard setback of the proposed fourplex would improve the transition, fit of the building to the existing context, which is the landscape, and increase the visibility of the Oliver Master House of Queens Drive. I also learned from her that when the email was sent out by Cameron Rose saying that they were satisfied and they consulted with the applicant, although the two had spoken, Ms. Stapleton and Mr. Rose, this report came out on July the 10th. So to me, the two dates, you know, in speaking to Mr. Rose yesterday, I have to give him credit, but we agreed to disagree. As much as the data shows the prevailing is 6 meters, this is a very special northeast corner lot. And regardless of how the city treats it, they are special. I am biased because 180 is not the house that is furthest setback. I am equal to it, as well as 200, which is approximately 18 meters, and 204, which is approximately 60 meters from the front lot line. My own child said to me, "Dad, if they turn it down, what are you going to do?" I said, "Well, I'll hire Rennie Cannon." I said, because it will become almost like a circus. I can actually build 2 townhouses in front of our existing house with this proposal, 4 meters south of where I am, 6 meters from the lot line, and it would destroy the whole corner, because this decision is going to change the whole corner for years to come. If that's what the committee wants to do, to preserve heritage, and I thank Ms. Stapleton for putting that in, because it means a lot. It is our platform for this committee. We're not against the house, the building. They can build the building, but they got to, for us, they got to push that front setback back. And there is a platform that will give them that opportunity of the 4 units. We give up something, they give up something. That's what compromise is. I went onto the YouTube today, and the slogan says, "Planning a great city together." I am here. I've been invited to come here. If I'm part of that planning, then, you know, my choice is I want that front setback pushed. Compromise, average. It may not be the 22 or 21 meters. It may not be the 18. It may be the 16. Let's find a compromise. But we need to speak to the agent about that. That's why I propose for it to be deferred, so that our counselor can meet up with the agent and the residents within the 60-meter radius and the entire Weston Village. 2 weeks ago, I delivered 500 flyers. I want to thank the 138 respondents to this particular petition, because it means a lot to us. I am biased because I am the neighbor. However, you know, this landmark, or that whole corner, I'm going to include the whole corner, is a complete landmark to those who visit our little niche of Jane and Lawrence area. If the agent would like a decision, then I too would say to the committee, the application be denied. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments for the gentleman before he leaves?
Actually, Mr. Chair, before we move on to the next speaker, would you consider requesting the applicant to ask if he'd be willing to take the recommendation from the counselor to take a deferral to do a public meeting?
Mm-hmm. We'll ask him right now. You've just asked him.
Yeah, I've, myself and the owner talked it over. He would prefer to not defer the application at this point.
Okay. Thanks. To not take them. He wants to move forward. Oh, I see.
Okay.
I
So-
meant to ask him that before. So.
Okay, no problem. So our last speaker, I believe, is Mary Hart.
I'm going to try and keep this short because our folks have already said most of it. I'm on 96. I'm at 96 Queens Drive in Weston, which is quite a pace from 180, and I'm also biased. That property is unique in the city. It is certainly unique in Weston. It's a landmark, and we care about it. We are not against the building of a structure on that property. We have serious concerns about the setback, the variance with respect to the setback. And I, understanding that this committee cannot deal with issues of architectural appropriateness, I would say that we would need an opportunity to meet with the agent and the applicant to discuss the concerns of the greater Weston area. Many people in this community have lived there, not for one generation, but several generations. People love this neighborhood and love this building. It's unique. But we're not saying no. We're saying, please speak with us. Please hear our concerns as a community. Please compromise on areas, because we're not NIMBY. We're not saying you can't build on that property. We want to, as a community, to have a say.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I'm going to have to step out. I just
You just realized.
Conflict. I know the speaker.
I'm sorry, I was not 100% sure.
Can we just know the conflict? Okay.
And I know her, I realize now.
Don't talk to her.
We did legal work together. To me, it's a deep concern that the applicant is not willing to engage in a process of discussion and communication with the community. I think that that's the most sensible and the most positive approach that we could be taking on both sides. It's always better if everybody can come to some compromises and agree on where a property is this significant. Subject to any questions, I think I've made my point. I would say, however, I support the deferral so that we can have that meeting. And in the absence of a deferral, I would ask that the committee dismiss this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hart. Panel, any questions of Ms. Hart or comments for her? Okay, I think we've heard from everybody then. Camille, is that correct?
Mr. Chair, there is one person online just as a call-in user, so I want to just double check to see.
Okay. If they're available, fine. If not, we'll carry on.
Call-in user 416-458. Hello? Call-in user 416-458.
No. Okay, I think we have to
I
proceed.
think that's for item 32. Oh, are they? Okay.
So we're going to proceed then? Okay. So, Mr. Cannon? Got your three neighbors want to sit down and talk to you, and I think your counselor does as well, about the feasibility of moving your house north, more in line with the existing home. It looks to me, before you speak, you're aligning your setback based on the block to the west rather than to the 4 lots to the east.
Yes,
On
that's
the
correct.
north side of Queens.
Yeah, and the vast majority of the neighborhood, yeah, a 6 meter setback.
Okay. So I guess you'll have to tell us why you want to proceed and you don't want to consider any adjustments, and whatever your rebuttal is.
I think at the outset, putting the building in line with the existing heritage structure was something we considered. I think what we were looking at originally was the original heritage designation was to preserve views of the existing structure. So we were looking at preserving it from Pine as well as from Queens Drive as well. The other main thing was that the existing driveway, the Heritage House is kind of oriented two ways, with pedestrian going south and with the driveway going east and west. So shifting the house back would either, well, it would eliminate the driveway, it would eliminate parking for the existing heritage structure. The existing heritage structure is roughly about 5 meters from the rear lot line. So it would really kind of compromise any yard at the back. It would leave a 5-meter rear yard setback with a 23-meter front yard setback. And so at the same time, by shifting it forward, we keep a front yard and a backyard. We're splitting the unit, similar to the house across the street, front and back. So it gives yards for both. Shifting it that far back would eliminate one. It would eliminate the parking, eliminate the driveway. It would kind of functionally reduce the existing heritage structure. So what we're proposing here preserves that. It preserves that heritage structure as is. It allows it to function the way it's designed to function. And it preserves those views, and it gives, like those windows right now that face west, they are still there. They're still able to look west. There's not going to be a building right in front of them. It's so far back that allows this other house, when shifted forward, they themselves can get views looking east as well. So it was just seen as a net positive all around, given how far back that one is. It's a very unique circumstance for sure, but we're really doing this to preserve that landmark and kind of plan for the future. And that was really the logic behind it. And I think we understand that, like there's, the lawn is large and there's a desire to preserve that. But we're kind of balancing both, providing housing against preserving a lawn. And this really we feel is kind of the best solution to be able to achieve both and preserve that structure as it is in the way it functions.
Have you explained your rationale to the people in the neighborhood at a meeting or?
The request for the meeting, I think, just came up in the last 2 days. Talking to the owner, the sense is that most of the people are adamant about moving it back, or we really don't feel that that's the best solution here. Apart from the notion of preserving a view from the corner. That's kind of the only thing that would achieve. But it has all these kind of large drawbacks to do that. In terms of function, in terms of how the existing building would remain. So it was not seen as a positive from that aspect, really.
Okay. Panel questions or comments for Mr. Cannon? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It seems to be intermittent here. I'm a little confused on the rationale for moving it back. I mean, your proposed art plan is proposing a 10-meter frontage on Pine Street to the existing dwelling. Surely you don't need 10 meters to provide parking access.
Right now, I think there's driveway and parking. I think it's loosely, I think one of the people even commented there's loose parking there. So I think the advantage of keeping that allows parallel parking. Like effectively, the driveway is so narrow right now that you can't really get that many cars parked there. So I think that's the advantage of doing that.
Yeah, but you're keeping that landscaped area in between the driveway and the proposed part 3 then, right?
Yes.
And what are you gonna park cars on
that? It's just being left as it is right now.
Okay, well, it could be left as it is, as rear green space for the proposed new dwelling, and the new dwelling could be shifted back 4 or 5 meters, could it not?
It could, yes.
That would address, I think, most people's concerns.
I don't think 4 meters is the setback that they're looking for. They're looking for a 22-meter setback, and it wouldn't address that.
But again, we're talking about a compromise situation, and essentially you're arguing that we should go with a setback that's comparable to what's across the street, not what's on the immediate context of the same block.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, I don't agree with that. Thanks.
Anything else by way of question or comment?
Just a general question, Mr. Agent. Other than time, perhaps associated costs, what downside would there be to meeting with the neighbors and discussing this and either compromising or considering some kind of middle ground?
I think time would probably be the concern for the owner, yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you're just looking for a yes or a no from us?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. I think we've heard from everybody then. And I guess Sophia's going to have to stand aside on this one. So it's up to the four of us. So we're going to go
the
to committee
chair
now.
can't,
You can sit down.
Okay.
Sorry?
the chair can't cause a tie or make a motion.
Oh, yeah.
It's been truncated.
Well, let's see how it goes. Just discussion.
Yeah, if there's discussion, I'm open to that. If not, I'm ready for a motion.
Frankly, I really don't have a lot of issues with respect to the structure that's being proposed. The one, and again, because of the one variance setback, is what I find not appropriate. I think there is some middle ground that could be found to come up with something that's more amenable to respect the heritage of that building next door. So that's my issue, is just setback. Otherwise, wonderful design, but the setback variance being requested is what I'm troubled with.
Mr. Chair, picking up on that note, I agree with, and I think it's what I heard from the neighbors as well, is the setback. It's the issue. I think heritage should be respected as a general concept. And having heard from the other side, if time is the only downside, then I think consultation's always a good thing. It'll help an exchange of ideas. So I think that would be helpful for everybody in this process.
Just as a note to the members, you've already heard the evidence. An opportunity for deferral was provided to the applicant. The applicant has stated multiple times that he's not interested in a deferral. So at this point, you should be making a decision. And if the application warrants more consultation, then perhaps it's premature and you make a decision that way.
Yeah, I think we're limited to two choices here, approve or deny. So, do you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I think the consultation will happen at TLAB. I'm going to move a motion to refuse. I believe the immediate context of the setback is inappropriate. It is not, it's not consistent with the rest of the immediate context. To go to the context of across the street is not the immediate context in my view.
Thank you, Mr. Kamarick. So we have a motion to refuse. Is there a seconder for that motion?
Second.
All in favor? I think it's safe for me to put my hand up now. It's refused unanimously. Thank you all for your participation. Get Sophia back. Natalia. You seconded that, didn't you, Natalia? Yeah.
Good day.
Okay, are we ready for item 26, 8 Park Lane? This item was deferred from the May 1 hearing this year to provide an opportunity to consult with planning staff. We have a transportation review condition of approval. We have a planning report for our information. There's no recommendation in it. We have 7 support letters. And we have, in the additional material, we received a revised application. I better pull that up. Okay, so the purpose is to maintain the second and third story addition above the existing dwelling. And there are 9 variances. Yeah, I think that's about it. The agent is Matthew Rebo, available virtually. Mr. Rebo?
Representing the owners of 8 Park Lane.
Can't hear that.
Hello?
Sorry, we can't hear you. Can you speak up, please?
I can.
Yeah, just sort of walk us through where you've been since May 1st on this one.
Yeah. Speaking, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, great. Afternoon, committee members. So, yeah, we've had a long history going back and forth with planning staff, multiple planners. We're trying to legalize existing conditions that were built and inspections approved. This was constructed under permit. However, they were not able to close the issued permit based on final inspection because not all the drawings were followed. So we're here at committee. We've gone and done as-built of what exactly was constructed. We clarified exactly the dimensions on the site plan. We've worked with, there was one comment from, was it transportation? They just wanted for us to clarify that there was enough setback from the tree to the driveway. 1 meter is required, and we have 4.16 meters, so that has been clarified, so no conditions there. And just a point of clarity, the planners have issued their latest comments in support of our application. I thought that I heard that there wasn't a recommendation, but in reading the recommendations, it's clear to me that it is in support. So yeah, if you have any other questions, please, I'm here to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Rebo. Panel, questions, comments?
Just a comment, there is a transportation condition, but the site plan has now been submitted, as we saw in the added material, so I don't think we even have to have that condition.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Camille, I have no one listed either in person or on WebEx to speak to this. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, so then let's go into committee for discussion if required, or a motion.
I'm good for a motion if there's no discussion.
You okay? Yep, go ahead.
Okay, I believe the application meets the 4 tests and would like to move approval with no conditions.
I'll second that.
All in favor? That's approved unanimously. Moving on to item 27, 109 Rexdale Boulevard. Purpose is to permit a vehicle dealership and vehicle-related uses within a multi-occupancy building. A previous Committee of Adjustment application approved a vehicle dealership and vehicle-related uses. This item was deferred from April 17th of this year to provide an opportunity to consult with planning staff, and we now have a condition of approval from planning, which is that a tree be planted between the front main wall of the property and the sidewalk. No other comments or concerns? No neighborhood desire to participate in this, so let's ask if you're agreeable. Maria Jones, the agent, if she's agreeable to not presenting on this to us. Do we all like that idea?
Yeah, I'm good with that idea.
Maria Jones.
I'm good with that idea.
You like, oh, good, you like that idea. Okay, so questions, comments? Motion.
Chair, I'm going to move that the application be approved, subject to planning condition of July the 31st regarding the planting of the tree in the front yard.
Thank you, Mr. Gully. Is there a seconder for Mr. Gully's motion?
Second that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. All in favor? That's approved unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Jones. Item 28, 20 Boylen Street. Purpose is to construct a partial second-story addition, a basement walkout, and a rear yard deck. There's one variance. We have urban forestry condition 2. We have an Ministry of Transportation advisory. And this was deferred on April 3rd to provide an opportunity to obtain a new survey, an updated site plan, and a new zoning review / waiver. And we have 2 participants from the same address, and they're in support. So panel, do we need a presentation or can we proceed with questions? Questions good enough? Yeah, okay. Mark Carrozza?
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi. Are you okay with proceeding to, on the basis of answering questions as opposed to making a presentation? This is pretty straightforward, I think.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. If
You're good with that?
everyone's-
Okay, panel, questions, comments, or a motion?
We have people in support.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry, no motion yet. We have to invite, so I guess we only need to hear from one of these people, correct? 2 different surnames, same address, both in support. Or maybe they can both get on the microphone and share 5 minutes. Let's do that. Herbert Kornhuber and Jean Yee. Can you share the microphone and speak to us?
Here.
Give us your
Yeah,
address and speak to us.
We've taken a look at the zoning waiver, and we are the neighbors directly north of the property, and we've looked at the plans. So because we had attended this meeting the first time, and we had a little bit of concern, but with the new survey, it looks fine. But Herbert, you did have a question on one thing, so
Yeah,
I'm going to leave it to him. Yep.
I just have a question. I don't have a concern really in regards to the variance. My question is on the elevation plan, the proposed north elevation. I noticed that there's a fairly steep slope showing on the walkway between the houses, which doesn't seem to exist at this moment. There might be a very, very minor slope of that walkway. I'm not sure if that's just an error on the drawing or just an exaggerated view of how it slopes towards the backyard. I'm not sure if that's something to be discussed here at all or not, but that's my only question really about that slope.
Okay, we'll invite Mr. Carrozza to speak to that. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Carrozza?
Yes, as far as I know, there's just going to be no change to the grading, so it might just be exaggerated here on the plans itself.
Okay, so
Which elevation are we talking about?
This is on the revised plans on the drawing that has proposed north elevation.
Okay, where's the concern? It looks all level to me.
No, if you scroll down, I can't tell what page it's on these plans.
A12, I think.
A12, correct, thank you.
Okay, I don't think I made it down that far. Okay.
That looks, if it's exaggerated, it looks highly exaggerated. Like it's not just by a couple of bricks. It looks
Yes.
a little deep.
Sorry, if I may clarify.
Yes.
So I'll be referencing the.
Okay, so can we just mute Jean Lee, because there's no back and forth at this point. Okay, thank you.
Okay. If I refer the updated survey, which has topographical points, so there is only about, let's say, from the northeast corner all the way to the back, there's about a 4 centimeter, or let's say, 4 centimeter drop in grade. So the grading shown on the drawings it's exaggerated. So it should be it should be a straight line as opposed to it sloping down towards the back, because we're not regrading any of the side yard on the north side.
Okay, so can you do a correction to that elevation?
I mean, yes, if that can be a condition. So it would just basically look like a straight line from, if we're looking at page A12, starting from the left side, which would be the front of the house, all the way to the back, it would be a 4 centimeter drop, which is going to be very close to a straight line.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, all we're saying is that when you submit for building permit, that you submit the accurate reflection rather than this.
Got it. Understood.
Okay, so we're ready to go into committee?
Yeah.
We can either discuss or we can decide.
Yeah, it's on the next drawing too. Yeah, just sorry, the next drawing as well, A13, I believe shows the same grade change.
Understood. I'll make a note of that.
Okay, thank you. If there's no other discussion, since I've already got the mic, I'd be happy to move approval with subject to forestry conditions.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gully. All in favor? That item 28, 20 Boylen Street, approved. Item 29, 8 NEWHOLM Road. Purpose is to alter the existing building by converting a portion of the existing indoor parking spaces into 4 additional dwelling units. The existing 3-story apartment building will contain a total of 31 dwelling units. There are 8 variances. This item was deferred from May 1st of this year to provide an opportunity to consult with the neighbors and Transportation Review. Since then, Transportation Review has communicated approval subject to 3 conditions of approval. And we still have 7 opposition letters from tenants. So, Mr. Palumbo.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the Committee of Adjustment staff. I'm Andrew Palumbo of Ian Hall Planning Limited, 38 Betty Nagle Street in Toronto, Ontario. Firstly, so yes, as Mr. Chairman noted, this application was previously deferred back on May 1st, and primarily in an effort to address the major comments in question here, especially from transportation staff and the tenants of the existing building, and that is with respect to replacement of the proposed 9 indoor parking spaces that are being displaced to make way for 4 new rental units. I am happy to advise, as I briefly mentioned back at the May 1st hearing, that my client has since gone back to the drawing board and has found a way to actually replace the 9 parking spaces that were being displaced from indoor spaces on the surface. So the spaces in this case are not being lost. I have been before this very committee for similar applications right in this neighborhood, 301 Park Lawn namely. I was just over a month ago. And there was a similar situation where, again, unfortunately, due to physical restraints, no parking was being replaced at all. But in this case, I'm happy to advise that all 9 spaces are now, they're not being lost as they typically would be with this type of rental intensification project. They're actually being fully replaced. So that's why transportation staff is now in support of the proposed application. I will mention right off the bat as well, I have reviewed those conditions. I know that if they are attached to an approval, if the committee were decided approval, these conditions are easily able to be satisfied. It just requires some clarification on the drawings because there is long-term bicycle parking spaces. The variance that's needed is that they are provided as outdoor spaces because usually long-term spaces are indoors. With all the architectural drawings show are the site stats that show the 3 long-term spaces that are required quantity-wise. But they are in fact being provided. So I think that just requires a bit more clear labeling on the site plan as well as with the drive aisle. It's just maybe specifically showing that there actually is a 6-meter drive aisle being provided for those new parking spaces that are being proposed directly in front of the new units at the rear of the building. Otherwise,
So you're okay with transportation reviews conditions?
correct. They could be, and I'm to say a revised site plan can address all of the conditions. Okay? And again, as you all know, say if there is ever an issue, and I don't think there is. If there's still a variance issue, the client would have to come back to Committee of Adjustment to get relief if there still remains some sort of infraction or contravention of the zoning bylaw. That all being said, overall, I believe the proposed variances are minor and more so technical in nature, and this is mainly because, again, you're dealing with an existing structure. Nothing's really changing other than the new units now coming into the proposal as GFA. So that's why a lot of these variances are triggered. The landscape variance is triggered solely because of the actual bicycle parking that's now being provided. It was never provided before, but otherwise the landscaping's not changing at all. So they're only internal modifications. And again, this is just a type of rental intensification that I do think is appropriate for a site like this. And again, the main thing being that the lawfully existing parking that usually is lost with these type of applications. In this case, thankfully, there was physical space on site to replace them all. So in conclusion, it is my opinion that the proposed variance application meets the 4 tests for a minor variance under the Planning Act, represents good planning, and should be approved by this committee. And I understand there's still opposition. Once they have their chance to speak, I'll speak to the merits of the planning merits of those concerns as best as I possibly can. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. Andrew, did you have a meeting with the tenants?
The property owner did on July 16th, I believe, in mid-July.
Okay. Panel, any other questions or comments? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to come back to the bicycle parking. Transportation it has 3 conditions, but they're really not conditions, they're actually questions. And I have the same questions. But so starting with the outdoor parking spaces, I am assuming are the short-term parking spaces.
Oh no, in this case, there's 1 short-term, 3 long-term bicycle parking spaces.
What's the difference?
Thanks, Adam.
We have to label them as such because this is a variance we worked out with the
But
zone.
for long-term parking spaces, do they not need to be sheltered or covered or indoor?
But that's why that's the variance. The wording of the variance is that they are not provided inside of a building, so they are provided outside. And I actually we worked this out with the zoning examiner because otherwise the option would have been to pay a cash in lieu payment to replace the bicycle parking altogether. But the option was if you just identify.
Okay, so you're proposing 4 spaces in total.
Correct.
You're going to call 1 of them short-term. You're going to call 3 of them long-term.
Long-term.
But you're not going to provide any protection over the parking spaces.
I guess, and that being said, I would be happy to go back to my client to propose that to them to, I guess, allow it to act as if like an outdoor bicycle.
Because I thought
would.
maybe you were doing an outdoor bicycle shed somewhere that you forgot to label on the plan. That's not the case.
No, that's not the case. It's just, like I said, it's your typical bike ring, but I guess they're being designated as the long-term spaces. That's how again, that was the discussion I had with the examiner, that who basically told me if you do that, that's why the variance is worded the way it is in terms of being being proposed not inside of a building, but rather outside.
Yeah, I mean, that's because the long-term should be sheltered. I mean, we do have a winter in this country.
Yes, a cold one.
Yeah, with lots of snow. Anyway, okay, that clarifies it in my mind. We'll come back to it later after people have their say.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, so we're ready to go into committee?
Mr. Chair, there's somebody in chambers who would like to speak.
Oh. Somebody in the room?
Good
Hi,
afternoon.
yeah. Give us your name and address, please.
My name is Ovidiu Paul Voicu. I'm living in, I'm a tenant of 8 NEWHOLM Road for over 23 years. Yes. And I'm deeply concerned with this new current owner and their management team are conducting their business. And the quality of tenants' life has diminished in this time. And I wish to give you some examples. One, there is a dead tree 4 years in front of our property, which hasn't been addressed to, and it's a danger for us. Plus, we have long branches hanging on the top of the garbage disposal area, which are also a hazard. Second, the newly proposed minor variance, it is in fact not feasible to obtain city approval because of the parking lots. There is, I will lose my inside indoor parking lot to be outside. And I'm close to retirement. I planning to live for a few months Canada to follow up on some issues on my with my family. So my car will be like 4 months outside instead of being safe inside the garage. And also the new proposed parking lots in front of the building, back of the building, there are very tight now spots, and will be very hard for snow removal and also for fire department trucks to get to have access. And also will be very difficult for our tenants to maneuver inside this tight spot now with extra 9 spots. Also, the third item, it is they implement the new laundry spots from basement to each level of building, and because of that, now tenants are claiming that there is a lot of like bad odors, smoke, and noise of using these new laundry machines. And to finish to the end, ultimately, we feel that this proposed construction, the new units, is affecting the structural wall of the building, which may crack to the whole wall. If this is a huge potential for us, for tenants to be evacuated in case of something is happening with the building. Also, there will be not enough space on the property to deposit construction materials and for waste management. In addition, we are opposing to construct these 4 new units at 8 NEWHOLM Road. Thank you.
Thank you. Panel, questions, comments for the gentleman? Is there anyone else in the hearing room that came to speak to? Yes, sir. Come on up. Give us your name and address first, please.
My name Oleg Valuev. I'm living 8 NEWHOLM Road, apartment 206. So I have reasonable concerns about this new construction the management want to do, because as my neighbor already told, there is no space in our parking lot outside, and we are gonna be forced to just to move our cars out from our garages and keep them outside, and we don't have space there. Otherwise, cars should be like face to face to and right by the building wall. If you check the drawings, they propose the new parking spot right by the building wall, and the windows from the new apartment will be right above the car, like not even the meter, not even the 2. And when if even it will come to complaint with the tenants who will live in these units, if you approve this plan, they will breathe the gases from the cars all the time. Another thing, I have reasonable concerns about how everything will be done, and I'm thinking that maybe just my personal meanings. So the management wanted to push us, the tenants who lived 5, 10, and more years out from the property. That first, when they bought the building, they provided some amount money to us to move out from the building. Now, then they increase. After then, they send us letters like pushing us, keep us intense. So you have to take everything in from your garage, except car, not even bicycle, not even the tires. But we don't have like common areas. It's like our personal garage storage area, and I check it in a building code, and it's permitted. And they told that we are violating fire code. And then when I sent the letter and asked what section of the fire code do we violate it, they didn't even respond on this letter. So as for me, it's just a pushing for us to move out. As soon as they start this construction, it might become not temporary, but like permanently. We have like a mess everywhere. We'll have, when the construction, even in one garage will start, they will close the whole parking because it's a construction area. It should be safe there. And we'll not be able to park our cars not inside, not outside, and we have to pay for on street parking. That's not good. As well as my neighbor told, we have building it's 1960s and it's old and it already has some cracks in it. And as soon as they start doing doors in the capital wall in the basement, it may damage the whole building. So, and that's why tenants have, and me personally have a reasonable concern about starting of this construction. And I know that a lot of people in our building are against of this plan. They provide table in front of the building and 2 spots for bicycle. That's ridiculous. And from that, they want just to move us from our garages. That's our pay amenities. Tomorrow, they will take decision just to cut our apartments half and put more units there. I understand they need more profit, but if you start doing such business, you have to obey the city laws and obey the rights of other tenants. It's like a business. You can't do what you want while you buy the house and then you move all other tenants and force them to pay twice more. So that's my concerns about it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
sorry,
have
sir,
questions.
can you come back? There are a couple of questions for you. You,
Come back, come back.
come back. There you go. Mr. Gully.
Go ahead.
Or no?
Just wanted to ask you, you've been there a few years, you said?
I'm here 15 years. I'm living in this building for
15
3 years,
years.
for 15 years. And last,
The next question I had, when you rented the place, you rented a parking spot in the underground garage?
yeah,
And you paid for that spot, is that correct?
when we had agreement, we had 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom apartment in our building, and 2-bedroom apartment include the garages, and 1-bedroom apartment had the parking spots outside.
Okay.
So our garage is included in our payment in our.
Okay, in the underground.
Yeah.
Have you been asked or have you been told that your parking spot will now be outside?
Sorry?
Have you been told that the parking spot that you have now you won't be able to park there, but you will have to park outside? Have you been told that?
No, they made meeting where they didn't explain why they are collecting this meeting. People asked, but they didn't. And after that, they sent the letters without any sign, without anything, just a piece of paper that they will not move us out from the garages.
Okay, so your spot, you're still safe having your parking spot in the underground, right? They haven't sent you any correspondence saying you've got to move outside?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, so do you have, no, don't go away. Do you have 2 spaces or 1 space?
I have garage.
So, but in your garage, can you put in 1 car or 2 cars?
I have 2 cars in my garage, yeah.
Right, because Donna, just to clarify, it's not a general underground parking, it's individual. Actually.
That's individual parkings, yeah.
Yeah, do you have a storage locker?
No.
Does anyone have a storage locker?
Yeah, people have a storage locker.
Okay,
They're
because
small.
essentially you consider your garage to be as a storage locker
Yep,
as well.
as well.
Okay.
I have nothing restricted there. Just cars, car, motorcycle.
Yeah, understood. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the room that came to speak to this item?
Yes, can I?
8 NEWHOLM Road, you heard speak about that?
Yes, I am also in the same building.
Okay, if you could give us your name and address?
My name is Val Vosny from 8 NEWHOLM Road, apartment 308.
Thank you. Okay,
So,
go ahead.
so what happened that we had a laundry in our building, and now they moved that laundry because they moved laundry out into separate rooms. We have such small rooms.
So every
in our,
apartment has their own laundry facilities now? It used to be a common laundry room?
Yes, but they would like to make like apartment in that laundry. So they made these laundries in 3 floors. We have such small rooms. I don't know for what, but they put laundries in there, and they have washing machines and also drying machines. So all the smells come out, and it's a building. It's built like those laundries are in a small area, so a lot of windows, not a lot of windows, but some windows come to that area, and we smell all that smells. So our suggestion
So this is like the dryer sits on top of the washing
yes,
machine?
yes.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
And they drilled a hole in the wall, and it goes out, and windows are very close to that location. So especially when people use when they dry clothes, they put some stuff that smells like very strong. It's not only my concern, but also some people who live near these laundries. They get it into windows. So our suggestion was to get laundries back, but they would like to have that unit, or maybe to put a big pipe that it can go up to roof, and because you see they changed it. They wouldn't do it if they didn't need that laundry, because we had a laundry like a room, like a big room. And they just decided to remove it. As I understand it, it's very close to garage, so they will combine it with garage probably or whatever, and make just units.
So what's in the old laundry room now? Apartments?
Currently nothing, but I think there will be apartment because it's adjacent. It's very like next wall to garage. So maybe they will knock off that wall between garage and laundry and combine it, or just maybe they will make in the laundry one very small unit. I don't know. But my suggestion, if they change this kind of layout to make it properly, because currently it smells very bad, or maybe to have some kind of restrictions on using this smelly stuff, and because it smells. And the building is built like this, so we have it like in very quite closed area of the building. If you see, it's really like U shape, and at the bottom view you have laundries 1, 2, 3. floor 1, 2, 3, we have these laundries. Yes, it's washing machine and a drying machine. Next floor, it's washing, drying, washing, drying. So this kind of layout, this is what we have right now. And regarding these garages, yes, we have concerns of parking, because I'm not sure if we have enough space to park cars one row and then another row if we move cars out of garages. So this is what we measured, and I don't know if it works in that area to have more spaces outside, because this is their idea, that they would like to move cars from garages to outside, and then to convert those garages into living units. Like this.
Can I just get some clarification?
Yeah.
So initially, there was one laundry room, right?
Yes,
For
yes.
the whole building?
Yes.
How many washing machines were there?
We had 2 washing machines and 2 dryers.
And
Yes.
2 dryers. Now, every floor
Yes.
has 1 washer and 1 dryer.
Yes. Yeah.
So you have that exclusive use, every floor. So in actual fact, they've added a washer dryer. Your concern is basically the ventilation.
Yes, because they drilled a hole in the wall.
Okay. But in actual fact, you went from 2 washer dryers to 3 washer dryers.
Yes.
1 for every floor.
Yeah.
But your issue is the ventilation of those, correct?
Yes. So it looks like improvement that they have more washers and dryers, but
Understand.
it's just need to be done maybe a little bit better, like to not to have all this smell to people's windows.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry, your time to address his.
All works was done without work permit. They run the new wire.
We can't entertain any more conversation with you. I'm sorry. Is there anyone else in the room that came to speak to this item? And no, and Camille, is there anyone at home?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Palumbo. You were right to rise when you did.
Yeah. All right, well, I want to thank the deputies for their comments. Again, I'll stand up here and say I could, just like I said from the outset, I could speak to the planning merits of the actual application regarding the variances. One thing I'll say about all the tenant issues, please maintain the ongoing dialogue with the property owner and my client, just because that's basically, I can't really resolve any of those in terms of the laundry, but I would encourage that conversation to keep happening. I could obviously do whatever on my part to obviously highlight that this is an issue that's been highlighted as a result of this application, so that it's something that hopefully can get some resolution going forward. One thing with respect to some of the comments heard relative to the variance application, again, this has been through transportation review. There are, other than the comments that are part of the conditions currently that are before us, and that's the most recent staff report, there were no issues identified with respect to emergency services vehicles accessing the site or waste, because they would evaluate it from that standpoint as well in terms of vehicle movements on site. Again, and that has to do with the fact that there's compliant spaces. It may not seem optically like there is a lot of space as a result of this application, but there are compliant parking spaces and drive aisles, and that's what's before this committee for approval right now, in the sense, again, this is lawful. Like, the application at its core is trying to provide rental housing, which is, again, a city and provincial mandate in an efficient, acceptable manner within the built environment. And in this case, again, I've been before this committee before when parking spaces are just lost. They're just not replaced at all. And in this case, the 9 spaces that are being displaced are actually being replaced. And one thing I have confirmed, a couple of things I've confirmed with the owner, in terms of the tenant agreement, as far, again, I'm not the expert to speak to landlord-tenant issues at all, but one thing I have confirmed is that nothing is specific in the tenant agreement in terms of the parking space itself being indoors or like a part of a garage. It's just for a space, as I understand it. That's just my understanding. And again, at that point, it's not lost, it's being replaced, but on the surface and rather than an indoor garage. And per Mr. Komorik's comment earlier, my client, if the committee would, again, subject to any approval, if there's a condition for the outdoor long-term parking spaces to have some sort of like shelter or housing, they would be, my client would be happy to address that, like whether it's through a notation on the plan or some condition that the committee would like to impose.
Okay, thanks. Any comments or questions? I think we'd have difficulty quantifying any requirements that we might want in that respect.
Not really, you just have to say that the spaces are covered somehow.
Just make a general statement to that effect.
And again, that also, sorry, it hasn't gone into committee yet, but if it's part of like, that's already a transportation condition, so could we sort of build on that? It's just because it's already there, it's just something you build on and add on in terms of notes and obviously plan details, and then obviously implementing it when it's built.
Just have a question around the replacing of the parking spaces. So those people that have garages now, I'm assuming they all have 2 spaces. Are they going to be replaced with 2 outdoor spaces?
I would assume if it's their current arrangement, my assumption is obviously whatever's lost is being replaced. So I wouldn't understand. I don't think there'd be any reason why they would lose the spaces.
We're not decreasing the number of parking spaces.
No. I think that's one of the key merits of the application. At least in this case, none of the spaces are actually being lost.
But then I guess the second part to that question is, those people who currently have those spaces, will they continue to have the right to the same number of spaces?
I would want to confirm that. I would assume yes, because they're entitled to those spaces, like as of right now.
You just said there's nothing in the lease.
Oh no, there's nothing that says there. I think I'm talking about the indoor component.
Okay.
The indoor component only.
Okay, because what I'm gathering from the deputants is that if you had a 2-bedroom apartment, you were entitled to 2 parking spaces, and if you had a 1-bedroom, you were entitled to 1. And so I'm just wondering whether that ratio is going to be maintained.
That's something I could certainly explore. I don't know 100% offhand, but what I do know from my client is that anything that's lost is expected to be replaced in it's on a 1-to-1 ratio as to what it is now.
Understood.
And given that all 9 spaces being lost indoors are being fully replaced outdoors, so at that point it's just a matter of who gets what space at that point.
And that area where the parking spaces are being proposed, that's currently space that's needed to access the garages.
That's correct. That's where they would be driving in.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there anything else, panel?
Just a couple of points, more pragmatic issues. Do you know when the new laundry rooms were established on each of the floors?
I do not, Mr. Gully, I do not.
Do you know if a building permit was required?
I can't because I actually don't know the answer to that question, so I can't. It wasn't part of this application specifically, so I can't speak to it.
Okay, and I guess with respect, not I guess, I know that with respect to storage, whether it's in a contained space or in an underground garage, is not permitted. It's not permitted because of fire code, and I think that's something that perhaps they've enjoyed. And the regulations may not be enforced because you shouldn't be storing any material, whether it's tires or boxes or furniture.
Because the intention is for it to be a car parking space.
So, all right, thank you.
And one thing I'd like to speak to that. Again, I've dealt with a lot of applications of this nature for these type of rental intensifications. It's actually often the case that a lot of the times these units are being replaced because it ends up that they're being used for storage instead of car parking. And that's where you basically say, a much better use would be if it's a livable unit rather than for storage. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we ready to go into committee? Any discussion?
Just a footnote, we still need one transportation condition, and that's to revise the site plan to indicate what's short-term, what's long-term. And I didn't hear any tenants, I should have asked them, but I didn't hear any concerns about losing indoor bicycle parking spaces. So maybe that's not an issue.
So on that issue, since we are in committee, the transportation's report actually had 3 conditions. The first 2 conditions were more advisory in nature, but they also refer to the fact that there had to be some labeling done. So perhaps if this application is approved, we should allow all 3 conditions to stand. 1, 2, and 3, which has 2 subconditions.
Well, Mr. Chair, I don't even know how you would fulfill condition number 1. They provide a clarification, but it's a yes or no. So the applicant could provide that to you today, because if you look at 3B, it says if long-term bicycle parking spaces are actually proposed, explicitly identify and label the locations.
So they would have to do that on the site plan when they apply for building permit?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think conditions 1
understand.
and 2 are
Okay.
appropriate.
Secretary Treasurer raises a really good point. It is covered in 3A and 3B. And just in general, we're discussing it in committee, so you may sit if you like. I think the tenants obviously are a little bit anxious over the fact that there are improvements being made, and I refer to them as improvements because they're trying to maximize the number of units within the building. And I don't think I'm too far astray by saying that they're trying to maximize it also to try to contain some of their costs and recoup and keep rental levels to a certain point. But that's not why we're here. We're here to basically look at the variances that are before us and ask ourselves, do they meet the 4 tests? Now, indeed, all the speakers raised really good points, and I think the applicant's agent heard what the points were. They want to be assured that if they have a lease that two bedroom units get 2 parking spaces, that they'll be treated the same. If you have 1, then you get 1. It doesn't necessarily mean that that parking space is guaranteed to be in any specific place, because I don't believe that each unit per se has a designated parking space. It's not like a condominium corporation. When you buy a unit, the unit comes along and is registered with an actual parking spot. So I think the fact has to be whether you get 2 spaces or 1. And I believe that's the case here. So I don't know if other members have other comments with respect to that matter, but again, I emphasize the fact that the speakers have good comments. You have valid comments. You've been there a number of years. You're concerned that changes are taking place. The changes, yes, will cause some disruption, because construction, there's always disruption. But as far as circulation is concerned, as far as driveway widths are concerned, as far as parking spaces are concerned, as far as fire access, all those things have to be taken into account. And there's no skirting those issues.
If I can ask a question with regards to variance 7, because I'm a little bit confused now. The variance states that a surface parking space must be at least 3 meters from any main wall of an apartment building. Then the proposal states, addresses bicycle parking. Am I to assume that there's a requirement for bicycle parking to be at least 3 meters from any main wall, or is it vehicle parking that needs to be 3 meters from any main wall?
I would think vehicle.
Because, like, we're mixing 2 things here. And if the vehicle parking spaces need to be 3 meters from any main wall, then that's a variance we need for the new proposed surface parking spaces, do we not? No, I understand that, but the windows could be made non-operable too, so. So I don't know if staff can clarify that or the applicant can clarify that.
Variance 7?
Yeah.
I think it's a mistake.
Go ahead.
Let's come out of committee and entertain your participation here, yeah.
having just looked at Secretary Treasurer's screen, that, as far as I'm aware, should actually apply to the rear vehicle parking spaces. That's why that walkway is provided. There's a 1 meter walkway provided in front of the space, so the wording is incorrect. It's an error in the wording. Shouldn't apply to the bicycle parking. It's
So that should read the new surface parking, the new 9 surface, is it 9?
Yes.
Surface parking spaces will be located 1 meter from the rear wall.
That should be the wording.
1 meter.
That's the variance, is it not? If it was a car, it would be set back 3. But if it's a bicycle.
It's not a bicycle. It's not, Dom, they've made a mistake.
It's a mistake.
I think it could be, I think it
There
could
is
be
no
a-
3 meter requirement for bicycles to be away from a main wall. That requirement is only for vehicles, for cars.
That's what I'm saying, sorry, Chair. The first part of section 7 reads, a surface parking space must be at least 3 meters from any main wall of an apartment building. A surface parking space, and I read, it's not clear, but I read it as an automobile parking space.
Correct.
In the second instance, it says the proposed long-term bicycle parking spaces will be 1 meter from the rear wall.
So the two things are inconsistent.
There's two issues there. One is automobile parking, and the second is bicycle parking.
Are you suggesting we need an additional variance for the bicycle parking?
I think there was an error in the notice. I'm looking at the zoning review, and it says the proposed parking spaces are located 1 meter from the rear main wall.
Yeah.
So it's not bicycle parking.
No.
It's automobile.
The words long-term bicycle should come
So
out.
I was gonna say, the zoning notice had the correct wording, that vehicular spaces, the one that was circulated, which again, there were no issues
zoning
with, but
notice does say automobile parking, it doesn't say long-term bicycle parking.
yeah, I believe. So it could be like I said, the zoning notice was accurate. It looks like it wasn't translated onto the public notice.
So bottom line, automobile parking spaces are going to be 1 meter from the rear main wall.
Correct.
But we have a notice issue, because that's not
We
what
do.
a notice says.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
I believe
But
then that,
so can we not just change the wording, or do you have to reissue notice?
I'm not comfortable that we gave proper notice.
I'm not either, because I was wrestling with you putting a shelter, the bicycle thing, 1 meter. So I think it's substantial enough that it's a major defect that requires an automatic deferral personally. And I would move that it be deferred to provide the proper notice, because there's a big difference between parking cars at 1 meter from a main wall and parking bicycles 1 meter from a main wall, especially when issues of parking have been raised in opposition
Can
from
we
the
pull,
tenant.
can we pull up the site plan for a minute? Okay, so in that gray area between the proposed suites and where the parking spots are, there's a dimension, but that dimension's not given. I'm assuming that should be 1 meter.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It should be 3 meters.
Well, it's definitely not 3 meters, because the drive aisle at the side of the building is 3.13.
Yeah, that's the variance that they're requesting. They're required to put it 3 meters away, but they're requesting to put it only 1 meter away. But it's not clear, it wasn't clear to us, obviously it wasn't clear to you, it wasn't even clear to the Transportation Department, because they were commenting on this variance.
No,
About
they were
bicycle.
asking for clarity about long-term parking.
For
Bicycle
bicycle
They're
parking, well, which we've now received. And if it's going to go back, I would suggest the applicant think about providing some covered parking for the long-term bicycles. But anyway, that's where we're at. So we're probably looking at a deferral.
Yeah, I don't think we have any other choice.
When these things happen, it is very unfortunate, but I think I have to agree. But it does leave the opportunity to address your comment, Mr. Comoric.
Yeah,
so
no,
at least we got to take the positives where they lie. If we're going to go
It's
back.
not a waste of time. We've got some good feedback.
And technically, there are conditions that transportation are asking for that can now be addressed and have no conditions whatsoever.
Exactly. That's the way you got to sell it to your client.
Could you take the opportunity, if this is deferred, to be involved in a meeting with the tenants so that you're then aware of what their issues are, and maybe the owner can actually address their concerns instead of just listening to them but not providing them with responses? Because maybe some of their concerns could be addressed, but they've just been left hanging without any kind of reassurance at all. And then you're here,
No,
but you can't answer their questions. If you're involved in that meeting, then perhaps...
Fair enough, but yes, Ms. Bartosik, I understand that, but obviously my focus is always it'll have to be on the planning merit, like it'll remain to be on the planning merits.
But this is the purpose of the application.
Yeah.
So I believe it is related to planning because you're removing, the applicant is removing parking
that's
spaces.
fair.
That's their concern. So I believe their concerns are related to the planning application.
Oh, no, that's fair,
But it's all intertwined.
No, it is. To clarify, I wouldn't want to speak a lot beyond anything, beyond my expertise. Like I can't speak to construction matters or building permit matters, but having an overall sense of the concerns, yes, allows to at least.
It would help if you could provide answers to them publicly.
Understood.
To the members.
Understood.
So then I guess we can go into commit. Thank you, and I think we can go into committee for a motion then. Sophia?
I believe I made it. I'm motion to defer this matter to provide the proper notice with respect to variance 7.
And Mr. Comoric, would you like to add the element and an opportunity to consider covered parking space?
They've got our feedback.
You're just saying, you're saying.
They've got our feedback. That's fine.
Okay, so we have a motion tabled to defer to enable a new public notice.
I'll second the motion. Sorry.
Could I add a friendly motion or a friendly point on that the notice needs to be corrected also, number 7.
That's the motion.
That's my motion.
That's your motion?
Yeah.
May I hear it again? I thought your motion was to defer.
Yes.
It's a deferral in order to allow the applicant to correct the notice with respect to variance number 7.
And reissue the notice.
Reissue the notice, and I would also encourage them, as indicated by Ms. Barstock, that I would encourage them to have meetings with the tenants as well to make sure that they are understanding the changes that are being made.
Thank you.
You okay with that?
Absolutely.
So the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? That's unanimous. Item 29 has been deferred.
I did.
Application number 30666 TRETHEWEY Drive.
No afternoon break.
Home of the beast.
The purpose is to construct a garden suite in the rear yard. There are 2 variances. This matter was deferred on June 12th of this year to provide proper public notice. We have urban forestry condition 2. No other conditions or comments from city departments. No neighborhood participation desired, either in person or by WebEx. Camille, is that correct? There's absolutely no interest?
That's correct.
Okay. Pan, are we agreeable to treating this as straightforward?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Argamiro Neto or Neto.
Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Argamiro Neto, and I'm the agent for 666 TRETHEWEY Drive.
And your address?
My address is 344 24th Street in Hamilton, Ontario.
Okay. And if you were listening to our conversation, we think your application is straightforward and does not require a presentation from you. If you're okay, can we proceed with asking questions if we have any?
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Okay, let's do that then. So panel, any questions or comments? Barring none, can we have a motion?
I'll bring the motion, Mr. Chair. This matter looks relatively straightforward. The interesting address number of the house aside. And on balance, the two minor variances appear to meet the 4 tests. I do not see any, I do see, thank you, Mr. My colleague has reminded me of urban forestry condition number 2. Approval subject to that.
Thank you, Ms. Popovic. Is there a seconder for Ms. Popovic's motion? All in favor? That's approved unanimously. Sure. We will break now and reconvene. We'll say 4:30.
We're not gonna finish? 2 items. Okay, go. 2 items.
The last one's going to be long. Do you want to deal with this one and then break?
Doesn't matter. It's up to you.
Deal with this one and then, yes, what? Deal with this and then break?
No.
Break now. Okay, we're going to reconvene at 4:30. Thank you for your indulgence. Holy smokes.
What a confusing
Yeah, what a day, eh?
application. My goodness.
That's unbelievable. Get a headache trying to sort through some of this.
Pick that up, that they had 2 issues.
No, I
with
didn't
one
either.
variance.
I didn't either
number
until the
seven.
very end. It's in the middle of the 4th. Oh, boy. She's a monster. Ay, ay, ay.
family, yeah, their parents, yeah. Yeah. They invited you. Yeah, they invited us to their wedding. It's gonna come. I believe they're.
Still having fun? Anything I can do to make you feel better? All right. I just don't want to think it's me. Yeah, I should, eh? Come on. Oh, no.
So the last one is going to be long?
Hmm?
Savona is going to be long? We've got two more.
There's all kinds of people here to speak to that thing. It's unbelievable. Look at this.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, we're here till 5:30. Hmm? Oh my God, yeah. Well, a decision on that last deferral would have taken. Okay, should I start talking? All right. Thanks for your rapt attention. Item 31, 50 Aldgate Avenue. The purpose is to construct a second-story addition above the existing dwelling and a new detached garage. There are 5 variances. This item was deferred on June 12th of this year to provide an opportunity to consult with the planning department and to make changes to the application. Urban Forestry has requested condition 2. And we have no agency or department comments whatsoever. I don't believe there's anyone in the room that came to speak to this item. I presume you're all here to, with respect to item 32, correct? Yeah? No one at home?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Panel, can we consider this as straightforward? Yeah. Mr. Gural is our agent. Mr. Gural, are you available?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, hello.
Okay, the panel finds your application to be quite clear and straightforward. Are you okay with not presenting to us? Because we don't believe we need a presentation, but we do have some questions if that's okay.
Yeah. that
We'll
would be,
proceed on that basis then?
Yeah, please.
Okay, Mr. Komorik, I know you have a question, so go ahead.
I have two, if I may.
Yeah.
First off, the GFA changed from 77 to 0.53 from your original application. Can you explain how you accomplished that?
Yeah, so that's what the planners came back and asked for a reduction at, because they didn't see that in that area. And the reason for that is because the basement is considered first floor and included in the GFA when from grade to the ceiling you have 1.8 meters. It is an existing bungalow, which we wanted to make the basement higher, but rather than underpinning, we're adding block on top of the existing foundation. So for that reason, we lowered it so that way it's not considered a basement.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay,
a
okay,
first
so
floor,
you've
it's considered
changed,
a
so you've
basement.
basically, so, because I didn't see a
Correct.
big difference in the plan, so
Yeah,
what you,
yeah.
okay, so that's how you've, I just wanted
Correct.
to know how you accomplished that.
Yep.
So that, thank you. And then my other question is, your lot coverage is quite high. We generally not like to see things over 40%. Is that due to the size of the new garage?
To be quite honest with you, it is because of the garage. The planners didn't have too much comments on that. They were more concerned about the grasscape, which we did eliminate. And my calculations, I have the lots, the coverage at 38.8. So it's, I have it a lower. I don't know why it says that here, but I mean, I don't, maybe he calculates something differently. So I just left it alone because I feel that I'd rather get this, but in my personal opinion, it is going to be lower than the 40. It'll be at 38.8.
Okay, yeah, I personally don't like approving anything over 40, but you're kind of there. So I just wanted to understand that, so you, because the garage is being enlarged, right? And
It was originally at 16 wide, now it's 14 wide. So by default, it definitely should have came down. I'm not sure why that wasn't updated or caught. I can't comment on that.
okay, so.
But because it's going lower, it's not going higher. That I just
No,
have it. And
understood.
because-
So you think you're probably not at 40, you're probably thinking.
No. From my calculations, I'm at 38.8.
Okay, but you don't want to change that to, you want to keep your comfort level where it is.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Kumar?
That's it.
Ms. Ruddock, Mr. Gully, Ms. Popovic, no questions, comments? So are we ready for a motion then?
Yeah, I almost don't want to do it because I don't want to approve anything over 40, but I'm going to do it with the belief that we're approving something that's less than that, but I'm not going to change the numbers now. So with that caveat, I find the application to meet the 4 tests. I'd like to approve it subject to forestry conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Komorik. Is there a seconder for Mr. Komorik?
I'll second it.
Ms. Ruddock, thank you very much. All in favor? That's approved unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Komorik, for your bravery and your going against your principles. That's a Komorik minor variance. Custom. Okay, our final item of the day is 52 SAVONA Drive. Purpose of this application is to construct a second-story addition above the existing dwelling in order to permit 2 units and to construct second-story addition above the existing garage in order to permit a garden suite. This item was deferred on June 26th to provide an opportunity to update the plan submitted to reflect the current site conditions. We have Urban Forestry initially requested denial, and in a subsequent freestanding memo, they suggested that as an alternative, we could consider their condition 1. We have 1 letter of concern, 5 letters of opposition, an MTO advisory, and we have, I believe it's 7 participants plus the agent. So the agent is Scott Wilson. Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Wilson, I think if you could tell us minimally what you've been doing on this application since the deferral in late June, and secondly, well, I guess just, you know, in light of the fact that there's so much opposition to this, I think we need a presentation, so.
It sounds good. We did provide a cover letter.
Yep.
That explained the changes that were made to the drawing package from the deferral date.
Yep, got that.
We have, yes. We've kept the existing design of the main residence. There was need to rotate the building to match up with the existing footprint that we received after doing a survey for the property. That should be on slide 2. So we can see the changes from the previous submission and the revised drawing. In revising the location of the dwelling and having it skewed from the property line as is built, we've actually had no reductions in the side impacts from the property line. We have increased the distances of the as-built condition, and it did impact a change of the front of the property and the variance we were asking for there based on the rotation of the building.
Okay, you finished?
Yep, we also showed the differences from the previous one. We've made a little summary chart that should also be on a slide further in that package, and just highlighted the differences from the original that was being asked for and what we're currently at after we revised the site plan.
Okay, is that it?
That's the wrong package. We're actually looking for the cover letter.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, do you have something you want to say about your cover letter? I have it up on the screen here.
Okay. No, we just wanted you to see that the existing residential dwelling there, that we've made the change and have shown it in its location that it's currently as built.
Okay, is that it?
That is for the changes since we were deferred. Would you like us to go through a little bit of a presentation on the variances that we're asking for?
Sure.
Okay. So that would be the presentation file that was up on the screen. We're looking for 6 minor variances. 2 of them are relating to the existing dwelling, and 4 of them are related to the garden suite that we're proposing above the detached garage. Item 1 is referencing the front setback. We're looking to recapture that existing front porch and the cold room below it. We are proposing to go forward the 1.22 meters in order to do that. The other variance, variance 2, is an existing condition. We're not moving the ground floor. We are simply keeping it as is. So that variance is actually asking us for a 0.07 meter variance for the front entrance door sill, which is an existing condition. Variances 3 through 6 are to the garden suite. We're looking to maintain the existing walls closest to the existing house and furthest from the street. We're looking to add additional area to the structure, allowing us 2 parking spots within the garage and the access stair to the dwelling unit up above. The additional area will come from expanding the walls closer to the road, yet no further than the front setback of the existing house, and closer to the rear property line. This distance from the property line actually increased with the new survey. We're now 1.33 meters away, so we'd be looking for a variance of 0.17 meters. If we look at the next slide, we can see that the street is under transition at the moment. There is a lot of new top-ups going on. We feel that what we're proposing is of the same quality, nature, and scale. We have a unique opportunity being a corner lot, and that we're looking to make the garden suite below the height threshold that we're permitted, but of it having it represent the same character of the new street builds. If we go to the next slide, please. So the property that we're doing is 52 Savona. It's on a corner. The property on the adjacent corner is 2 Rufford. We are looking to expand out the front towards Savona Drive, which is to the south. We are going to be significantly less than the adjacent corner property is to that main road.
Okay, Mr. Wilson, your time's up. If you can wrap it up, please.
Okay. I think everything that was in the presentation package should explain what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Panel, any questions or comments for Mr. Wilson?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
I'd like to reference your site plan, and I have questions with regards to your the garden suite. I find it a little bit confusing still. You have 3 sets of lines there. There's a solid line, which I believe represents the proposed new garden suite. It says existing garage walls shown as dashed lines. If that's the case, then can you explain what the solid dark lines represent?
The solid dark lines are the existing footprint of the garage. The dashed line is the roof overhang above, and the hatched in area is the new footprint for the garden suite.
A hashed? I don't have a hashed. But okay.
If you look inside, it says proposed addition. If you're looking inside the main building.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, no, I get that. I didn't understand the distinction between the dashed lines and the solid lines. So that's identical to what you did with the main house. Okay, I got it now.
Correct.
Except that the main house is a proposed, whereas this is existing, so that's where it kind of got confused me. Okay, thanks.
Anything else, panel? Okay, we can start proceeding through our list of participants. We have, I think, 4 people in person, and we have 4 virtual participants. No, I guess 3. Yeah, 3. Before we do that, just a general comment that multiplexes and garden suites are permitted on all residential lots throughout the City of Toronto. So we are here to consider the 6 variances that are being requested, not the principle of whether or not a garden suite or a multiplex is appropriate. It's already been decided by the city that it is. So I will first call on our first in-person participant, who I believe is Fred Kurbegovich. There. Did I pronounce that properly? Not bad, eh? Okay. Mr.
Hi, good afternoon to everybody. Today I'm speaking in opposition to 4 separate variance requests.
And sorry, what's your address, sir?
3 Rufford Road.
Okay,
My
go.
property is adjacent to his backyard, this backyard.
Okay, go ahead.
My side lot. Each of these requests seeks to reduce the minimum required setback, reductions that taken together represent a substantial departure from the intent of the bylaw and the official plan. With reference to item 3, 1.5 meter required, looking for a 1.33 meter proposed. This standard exists to ensure that ancillary structures such as garden suites maintain an adequate buffer from property lines for privacy, light, and maintenance access. He's proposing a 6 meter garden suite, and that towers over my house, and it's actually at the peak where my chimney is. That's where his would peak at. A reduction to 1.33 meters narrows the buffer, increasing the risk of overlooking into neighboring yards, blocking natural light, and making fence or wall maintenance far more difficult. The margin here may seem small, but in dense urban context, these extra centimeters are critical to livability and conflict prevention. Item 4. This is not a minor trim. This is a reduction to less than 1/3 of the required separation. Such a drastic change eliminates meaningful buffering, places the building immediately adjacent to the property line, and magnifies every negative impact, noise, visual intrusion, shadowing, potential drainage disputes. This degree of encroachment fundamentally undermines the bylaw's intent. Item 4. This specific rule addresses situations where a garden suite has vehicle access from the street abutting the side lot line. The 6 meter standard isn't arbitrary. It ensures safe maneuvering, clear sight lines for drivers and pedestrians, and space for emergency access. Reducing to 4.57 meters compromises vehicle turning safety, constricts the circulation zone, and diminishes the landscape buffer intended to soften the visual and noise impact from the street. It's a functional and aesthetic loss. Item 6. The 7.5 meter separation is designed to preserve a clear, usable space between the main dwelling and a taller ancillary building. This space maintains light penetration, air movement, privacy, while allowing for safe pedestrian flow and potential emergency egress. Reducing this distance by almost half, down to 4 meters, crowds the lot, increases the perception of bulk, and makes the 2 buildings feel jammed together, harming both visual character and functional use. There is a cumulative impact with all these changes. While the applicant may frame each reduction individually as minor, the committee must assess the combined effects. Here, all 4 setbacks are being eroded at once. Multiple encroachments mean cumulative loss of privacy, light, and open space. Functional access for vehicles, pedestrians, emergency service is diminished. The bylaw's clear intent to maintain safe, livable spacing between structures and lot lines is repeatedly violated. Approving these would not only fail the 4 Planning Act tests, it would set a dangerous precedent for stack reductions that collectively reshape lot coverage and density far beyond what the bylaw envisions. Okay, referring back to why this is not desirable for appropriate development of use. This proposal brings structures too close to lot lines and to each other, constricting safe vehicle maneuvering, emergency access, and pedestrian flow while increasing overlook, noise, and shadowing for neighbors. These are tangible negative outcomes. The bylaw 569-213 setbacks preserve light, air, privacy, and functional access, and ensure safe, compatible building placement. Reducing this drastically undermines those objectives, erodes harmonized city standards, and disrupts established massing patterns. The official plan requires development to respect and reinforce existing character, provide appropriate transition, and protect anonymity, safety, and livability. Compressing multiple setbacks at once conflicts with these principles, leading to adverse cumulative impacts. For these reasons, statutory noncompliance, functional and safety concerns, negative livability impacts, and precedent risks, I respectfully request the committee refuse all four barriers expressed. These standards are in place to balance development with neighborhood compatibility. Once reduced here, it becomes harder to then in the next application. And one of the biggest concerns that we have, my granddaughter's bedroom and the dining room windows are adjacent to this side wall where the garden suite is going to be. There's going to be windows that are literally less than 2 meters, well, maybe 2 meters from the window. People are, they're going to look in the windows all the time. This is going to be an issue that's going to go on and on. And
How close is your building to the lot line that you share with this property?
it's approximately 1.5.
1.2?
I haven't measured it, but I'm doing the fencing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about 1.5 meters.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. Good presentation. Panel, any questions or comments for Mr. Kruger?
Yes, I do have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
Your recommendation was to refuse all 4 variances. There's actually 6 variances being requested.
Concerning my
You're concerning only the,
ones that are directly impacting me.
which has to do with the garden suite.
Yes.
So you don't have issues with what they're proposing on the house.
I do, but I want to focus on.
That's fine, that's fair, okay.
There's other
Yeah,
individuals
that's
who
fair.
want to place their interests on
Just wanted to clarify that, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. So your concern is variances 3 through 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
with regards to the garden suite.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kubekovich. Our next in-person participant is Neil Stapleton. Okay, you're Mr. Stapleton? Okay. We also have Emily Nudga. Come on up, Ms. Nudga. Okay, so you're inviting Catherine Udasco up first? And you want to speak afterwards? Afterwards, okay. Okay, Ms. Udasco, if you can just give us your name and address.
For sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Catherine Udasco. I'm the POA and representing my parents, Lilibeth and Glycerio Udasco, residents of 50 Savona Drive, just east of the subject property. So let me just start by saying that on the COA site, it is recommended that applicants in the pre-application stage to consult with neighbors. I can confirm that we have never been approached with any plans by the owners which would dramatically impact our home and the neighborhood. From what I could verify, as early as February 8, 2024, according to the Tree Protection and Plan Review, the intention to rebuild 52 Savona has been in motion since that time, which means it's been almost 17 or 18 months with zero consultation, even after the deferral back in June. Not one of the applicants, no one from the applicant's side has engaged us or anyone in the community. And as I mentioned, I understand that it is solely a recommendation. However, when I review the city's long-term goals of respecting neighborhoods and reinforcing character, the lack of consultation with such dramatic plans to change, in my opinion, is not very neighborly, nor does it cultivate a sense of community. There are 3 key points I'd like to emphasize. Number 1, the measurement discrepancies. There are several measurement discrepancies, and I do not claim to be an expert. However, in trying to understand these plans, various thoughts and questions arise. Why are there no measurements from the open basement walkout to the front property line? The forestry report provided both in June and in August denied variances 1 and 2, and yet with the amended plans, there's no consideration of altering that application. Or the ability to determine coverage, total coverage of existing versus new plan, or the intent of the open canopy section. We still need clarification around this. Or the discrepancies between the surveyor report versus the plan, specifically setbacks, grading, and the labeling of existing structures. Although there have been some items that are corrected in these new plans, there continues to be some discrepancies. The plans at first glance to the average person seem quite reasonable. And it's only until you take some time to review what has been provided, you must ask yourselves, are these changes truly minor and are they appropriate? Which leads me to my second point, the proposed structures. Both structures combined will total 7 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 3 kitchens, and 3 laundries. Will this comply with the electrical servicing, sewage, and stormwater capacity in our area? In my opinion, it seems like an overbuild for such a small lot. These structures directly impact our privacy due to the number of units and windows that onlook to our property, and it limits our access to natural light inside the home and in the garden. The additional photos which we've sent prior, the current state and distance between the applicant's existing frame garage, which will need to be torn down and a new foundation established, and the proximity to the proposed new build to neighboring brick and mortar structures. These photos also showcase the natural light our vegetable garden receives, vegetables such as rhubarb and asparagus, which took years to establish. Due to this overbuild, the expected number of those housed within this dense living space will also increase traffic and excessive noise. And I'd just like to add, as someone who is a primary caregiver for my father who has a disability, excessive noise and lack of natural light is triggering for his condition, which places unnecessary stress for himself and for my mother. Number 3, the city-owned honey locust tree, and I appreciate the memorandum that TPPR, which denied those variances 1 and 2. I too share those same concerns for this mature and healthy tree. There has been past undocumented work, allegedly, which were outside of the statute of limitations now, that conveniently had limbs removed that directly impacted the second-story addition. And that's according to 311 Urban Forestry and TPPR. There were service requests, but never any permits for those specific limbs. Again, I say allegedly. So I can see my time is running short, so I want to be very clear. We are in support of appropriately planned, executed, and managed housing in our city and in our neighborhood. There are numerous examples of homes within our specific pocket of Alderwood that converted bungalows into 2-story dwellings that respected and reinforced neighborhood character. However, this application negatively impacts our street and sets an unwanted precedence for future development changes of the character of Alderwood. The committee has actually received more than 20+ letters of objection, and we have a petition with over 35 signatures from concerned members of this community. I hope that you'll strongly consider declining this application in its current state and listen to the voices of the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Odasco. Panel, any questions or comments for Ms. Odasco? Nope.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Nudgar, are you ready to speak to us? Thanks.
Good afternoon. My name is Emily Nudgar, 5 Rafford Road. I highly oppose, like, all variance is so off. 5 minutes is not going to be enough to cover everything, so I start from variant 1. When they're looking for height to entrance, they propose 127 meter. So why this even happened? I was looking on a old drawing and say, how is it even happening if on a drawing they showing entrance with a 1 meter 10 centimeters, and here they asking 1 meter 27 centimeters. Apparently, it's happening because they regrade the front of the building. They digging huge hole, 9 by 3 by 1 deep, huge platform, and doing walkout basement. So that it's so dangerous. If we allowed this variant, it means we allowed all this digging, all this platform going underground. It's damaging for a tree is gonna die. Damaging for all neighborhood, safety. This whole hole has 4 enclosed walls. They're gonna accumulate snow, water, rain. Cleaning gonna be so hard. It's you don't have even entrance or exit to that hole, only from the front basement. So it's on the front of the street. It's completely off. It's completely not whatever is on our street. No one gonna even expect this huge, massive hole on the front of the street. And it significantly change all appearance of the street. So if this basement floor gonna be lower, grade level lower, so it's mean basement level is suddenly first floor. So all this development is not putting second floor, is literally putting third floor over the existing building.
the big no for this variant. I'm jumping to variance which is connected to garage and put a garden unit. The garage is a wooden garage, literally with a framed wood garage, already falling apart. So all garage has to be demolished. Put new garage. It's mean extension in a two-way extension of the garage. So it's not putting something over existing garage. It's put new garage. All this front of the garage, they're gonna reduce to 4.5 meters, which is two laws for a garden unit and for a garage, saying 6 meters from the street must. It's must, is not 4.5. They're putting on a drawings, they're showing 2 cars standing on the front of the garage. 4.5 meters, none of the car can be there. So the smallest car is 5 meters long. So if any car is gonna be there on the front of the garage, it's gonna block our sidewalk. If they're going to block our sidewalk, people cannot walk. Motorized wheelchair cannot go. Neighborhood is aging, so disability scooters cannot go. Snowplow during the winter time just completely cannot go. So it's going to go around the property, around this sidewalk, so it's never going to be clean. Never going to be clean, slip and fold and trauma and all this stuff. So it's just completely unsafe even for the people to consider to put that and shrink the exit to the garage. So all this, even when they expand the garage, so they're short of the landscaping. They have to have a 60%, they have 59. After this 59, they have to have by law 75%, they have only 58. Nobody even consider, to put this on a minor variance. It's kind of like, psh, it's okay. It's just they're showing how the Savona Street gonna look. Why they did not show how the Rafford gonna look? So expanding of this garage, they're gonna go to the street 4.5 meters. All our front setbacks, all is 7.5 and more meters. It's mean on a half, it's going to be whole this humongous 6 meters high building. It's just no. For a variant
sorry,
one.
Ma'am, your time's up. If you can wrap up.
So I have so many things. Few things more can I add?
No.
Okay.
Only 5 minutes, and your 5 minutes are up.
Okay.
So you'll have to wrap up. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm wrapping up. I'm against of everything, and I'm so surprised. And actually, honestly, architect can put this everything and say, okay, that is okay. So many omission done, and all prints and all this, some pages in the feet, in the inches, some in the meters. It's like there has to be everything in the meters.
Okay, ma'am, I have to stop.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For your
Any
attention.
questions or comments?
I do have a question. Just
Yes.
You made a statement about the basement becoming the first floor.
Yes.
I just don't understand that. You're basing that because of the walkout, or
No,
because
no.
it's occupied space?
No, it's not because of occupied space. Because they, by the definition of the basement at the first floor, the definition by law saying then, which is the lowest from the established grade. So from the established grade, if you have a page A3.1, established grade for them is 109 meters.
Okay, and then what's the midpoint of the basement?
Yeah, so from that established to main entrance, now we have a variant 127, 1 meter 27 centimeters. And to the basement floor, we have 1 meter 8 centimeters. It's mean, if you divide it, the lowest is apparently basement floor.
Okay, but you're not taking into account the,
I do. So you add 127 plus 108 divided. It's gonna be, do you want me to divide it? 127 plus 108. So it's going to be over than established grade because they lower the established grade by digging all this trench on the front. On the front,
oh, so you're taking the
they
established
lower
grade? Okay.
established grade is completely now is different. This is why they become with this variant 127.
Okay, but so what you're suggesting then is that they're missing a variance for GFA due to the basement floor.
They're missing variance for that as well. So they're missing as well, yes, they're missing GFA,
Okay,
yes.
Just want to.
But they have to, yeah, but they have to, so the basement floor is going to be the first floor. The basement level is going to be the first floor.
Well, that's
for a
your,
definition, yeah.
That's your allegation. I just.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
It's just whatever I was reading, you know, educating myself. I might be wrong.
Well, I just.
Just tell me that I'm wrong. No problem.
Well, the plans
You know,
examiner.
we're learning.
I'm going to check with the applicant and then with staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I just want to check in with you, Camille. According to my records, we have 3 more virtual participants: Karen Spadafora, Paul Veneri, and Gina Vivian. Is that correct?
So we only have 2 of them online. Karen is not online right now.
Sorry, which one's not
So
online? Gina?
Karen isn't online
Karen
right now,
isn't.
but we have Paul and Gina.
Okay, well, if she can jump in later, fine, but if we're finished with Paul and Gina first, we'll just proceed. So Paul Veneri?
Hello? Can
Yes,
you hear
sir.
me?
Could you give us your name
Hi,
and address, please?
Yeah, it's Paul Venery, and I'm at 88 West Head Road. I'm a neighboring resident.
Okay. Carry on.
Okay, am I okay? Okay, so I'm here to formally oppose the minor variance application for 52 Savona. While I appreciate efforts to increase the housing stock, the combined proposal for a ground level multiplex and a separate garage suite on this corner lot fails 4 key tests of the Planning Act. It undermines neighborhood character, parking and pedestrian safety, and traffic flow. So regarding the corner lot issues and restrictions, so the subject property occupies a prominent corner at Savona Drive and Rufford Road. So under the Municipal Code, Chapter 158, stopping or parking is prohibited within 9 meters of the intersection curb line to maintain sight lines and pedestrian safety. In addition, the proposed front yard setback is 1.15 meters closer to the road, which complicates the issue. So consequently, on-street parking options are effectively reduced to a single vehicle in front of the existing house. And the required on-site spaces per unit, as per zoning bylaw, become unachievable without overflow onto adjacent yards or illegal encroachment. So during peak periods, vehicles queued for parking obstruct sidewalks and compromise visibility for drivers exiting the driveway and compromise the safety of children walking to and from the neighboring elementary schools. So decreasing the front yard setback will also decrease visibility at this intersection. So adding both a multiplex and a garage suite will exacerbate these conflicts, creating spillover parking on both streets and heightening the risk at a busy pedestrian crossing, especially as children are walking to and from the nearby school. St. Ambrose School is just up the street from there. So regarding density and neighborhood compatibility, so the official plan neighborhood destination calls for an infill that respect and reinforce existing patterns of development. The dual unit strategy proposed here directly contradicts that objective. A multiplex alone would represent a reasonable, context-sensitive increase from the existing single-family home. A separate garage suite is an accepted intensification tool when applied in isolation and with sufficient setback. So combining both intensification measures on one modestly sized lot results in 4 dwelling units, doubling the density of comparable corner lot properties in this section of Etobicoke West. So this scale of redevelopment disrupts sightlines, increases noise, and strains municipal services beyond the capacity and vision for low-rise neighborhoods. Destroying a public asset for private gain. So a recent forestry report confirms that a 71-centimeter honey locust tree in diameter will have to be sacrificed to construct a proposed basement walkout as part of the proposed drawing for the application. This healthy, mature locust provides substantial shade, improves air quality, and contributes to local stormwater management. As a city-owned asset, it represents a public investment in canopy cover and urban resilience. Its loss would be a permanent reduction in neighborhood tree canopy, counter to the city policies prioritizing retention of large, healthy trees. The report concludes that the basement walkout footprint conflicts directly with the existing root zone and structural stability of the locust. And removal of this 71 centimeter diameter trunk cannot be mitigated by replacement planting or on-site. The ecological benefits of a mature tree take decades to replicate. No alternative construction methodology has been advanced to preserve the root zone while accompanying egress. Toronto's official plan and municipal code require preservation of city-owned trees wherever feasible. The applicant has not demonstrated that relocation of the walkout or redesign of the basement egress is technically unviable. Granting this variance would set a harmful precedent for sacrificing public trees on private development sites. So requested release is really to strike a balance between intensification and community well-being. I respectfully urge that the committee either number one, refuse to combine multiplex and garage suite, two, deny any variance that permits removal of the honey locust tree. The committee should consider only one additional unit, either the multiplex or the garage suite, but not both, with reasonable variances setbacks. With parking that fully complies with the space unit requirement and the 9-meter corner prohibition, and does not alter the existing front yard setback to avoid significantly increasing the safety risk for crossing pedestrians and vehicles turning at the intersection.
Okay, Mr. Venner, you have 20 seconds to wrap up.
Yeah, in conclusion, the proposal is not reasonable in scale, safety, or environmental stewardship. It fails the intent of the zoning bylaw. It's not minor and is incompatible with our neighborhood. I urge the committee to require a scaled-back, truly reasonable plan that respects our streetscape, preserves our public tree, and maintains the character and safety of Etobicoke West. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Venery. Panel, any questions or comments for Mr. Venery? Okay, I'll now call on Gina Vivian.
Good afternoon, Chair and Committee. My name is Gina Vivian. I live at 18 Thames Avenue. So I just live adjacent to SAVONA, and I received my letter from the Committee of Adjustment, and I wanted to express my concerns about this build, and particularly the variance number 1, the minimum front yard setback. This is a problematic issue. So the minimum front yard setback is 7.67 meters, and the proposal is 6.52 meters. Although the 6.52 meters does not take into account the concrete retaining wall and above grade guard for the basement walkout and new entry. This extends what it appears to be another approximate 1.3 meters, but it is not dimensioned on this plan. This happens on both the south and east sides of the building. And according to Urban Forestry report dated on August 5th, they're requesting denial of the variance related to the front yard setback based on the 6.52 meter setback. This additional 1.3 meter encroachment is even worse for the issues related to the healthy bylaw protected tree and the permanent loss of viable planting space. In addition, which has been discussed, I just want to emphasize it is a corner lot, and the setbacks on both the front and side with the house and the guardrail encroachments affects the sight lines more significantly than if it weren't on a corner. I also want to ask, why isn't the basement retaining wall and guardrail, which is above grade, not dimensioned or considered in the setback? Because it's just as obtrusive as the house itself. I have no other questions or concerns. That's just wanted to express my opposition for this build. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Vivian. Panel, any questions or comments for Ms. Vivian? Okay, Camille, last call for Karen Spatafaro.
She's not online.
Not online. Okay, then let's proceed. Mr. Wilson, you have
Yes, committee.
5 minutes to rebut a number of comments that have been made in the last half hour or so. So over to you.
Yes.
Over to you.
Thank you. So the existing first floor, according to the survey, which we had done, was at 1.27 meters. We're allowed to be the 1.2 meters. We're not moving that existing floor. We're maintaining it. We're also maintaining the existing basement. We are providing the basement unit with its own entryway, which has been discussed. They will have their own patio area. It does have a retaining wall. The retaining wall will have a guard, as shown on the drawings. It will be very safe and very secure for the neighbors. In terms of the garden suite itself, we designed the house to be a single family looking dwelling. It does have a walkout basement unit that may or may not be rented out. The garden suite will provide a future owner with some income to help pay for the property and the new build. We were looking to have a 2-car garage, which is in keeping with most of the area. We are looking to keep the 2 parking spaces out front of the garage, which have a farther setback from the property line and the sidewalk than the adjacent corner does. The adjacent corner is a little over 3 meters to the road, to the sidewalk, sorry, not the property line, to the sidewalk. We feel that we will have 4 parking spaces on property. It is more than we're required to have. We've also provided for the bicycle parking on property, which is probably more suitable for somebody that will be renting out the garden suite in the future. We're trying to maintain as much of the footprint of the existing house. We're trying to maintain the same level of green area between the two. We are having to expand the garage, as noted, which is to the rear yard. It puts us 1.33 meters away from the rear property line. The adjacent house is 1.36 meters away, so we are definitely in the same range. If that garden suite was on a side lot line, we would only need the 1.22 meters. So we feel we're being respectful in what we're doing. We have not gone over in the height for the garden suite. We're maintaining the 6 meters. We're trying to provide additional area for a new family, including a space that they can achieve some income on. And we do think it is respectful in the scale of the neighborhood.
Are you finished?
Yes.
Thank you. Panel, any final questions or comments for Mr. Wilson? Then let's go into committee for discussion or motion.
Excuse me. Can I make one more point?
No, you can't. No, you cannot, sir. Sorry. So we're in committee.
I'm just going to kick off a little bit of discussion. I think we've had garden suites on the books for a little while now. When they first came out, I think we were reluctant to give more than 1 or 2 variances on them because it was a new housing form. This application requests 4 variances. Individually, they don't seem extreme, but cumulatively, I'm not sure. I think, to me, it kind of feels like a bit of a shoehorn for the garden suite. I don't have concerns with the proposed main house. Those are my comments.
Any other comments or opinions?
I just want to say that we're having a real difficult time as Torontonians, as Etobians, seeing what used to be single-family home residential communities now allowing not only one structure, but actually two structures, and not only small structures, but three-story structures in what we were comfortable with, living in a single-family residential neighborhood where you knew you were protected by that regulation. And I know personally that that's a difficulty that I'm having as a Torontonian, and I know a lot of people have that same a problem, because we're not used to seeing that type of intensification in our low-density residential zones. Things have changed. Toronto has grown. Over the last 20 years, intensification seems to be the only way to deal with housing people and providing affordable housing. We just can't go and vertically and build 50 and 60 and 70-story buildings. Now, I don't want to predicate here, but unfortunately, the fact is that some of the single-family residential lots in Toronto need to be intensified in terms of the number of units or housings that can be accommodated in order to accommodate the population that's coming in, our population that is growing. We are a large city, we're a growing city, and like many cities in Europe, I'm not saying this is Europe, but in Europe, no matter whether you're on a local, collector, or arterial road, the local roads bear the brunt of also having gentle intensification, 4- and 5-story units. I think that that's the difficulty we're facing. When I look at this application, and I listened very carefully to everyone who came and spoke, they've taken the time because they have a stake in their community. They've lived there, and they like to see their communities stay as they are, but communities are changing. And relative to what we have in front of us today, I carefully review every of the variances, and whether it's variance number 1 with a minimum required front yard setback, are they asking for extremes? No, they're not. Maximum height, are they asking extremes going from 1.2 to 1.27? They're not. Are they asking for a rear yard setback of 1.5, 1.33 is what they're asking. So when I look at all of these variances, and our task as a committee is, does it meet the 4 tests? Are they minor? Are they appropriate? Based on council direction and council policy now to have gentle intensification in our low-density residential areas, I can't see any of these variances not meeting the 4 tests. And that's the difficulty that I'm having too, because I see my neighborhood changing. I see 4- and 5-story buildings now next to a single-family home that I thought I'd be protected. But the city is growing, the city needs to accommodate, the city's evolving. We are no longer the innocent Toronto that we used to be. We've got to accommodate people to live in affordable housing as well. Housing that's affordable, not affordable housing, housing that's affordable. And the only way we might be able to at least achieve some of that goal is to allow intensification in single-family homes and single-family lots. So it's difficult to try to deal with applications like this where the neighborhood has been very passive. They've seen rejuvenation of former lots of bungalows going to 2 stories, but seeing 2 structures on 1 lot is something difficult for us to now wrap our minds around. But when I look at the variances before us and the tasks that we have, I don't see the variances being egregious.
I hear you. I would say, however, I've got a problem with variances 4, 5, and 6 related to the siting and height of the garden suite. Sort of related to what Stan said about, you know, we're really concerned about introducing this new housing form and making sure it fits and is compatible and is not offensive. I've got problems with variance 4. It's almost a meter closer to the east side lot line than the bylaw requires. Slightly lesser problem with variance 5, but still the minimum side yard setback from the street abutting the side lot line is 6 meters. What's proposed is 1.5 meters closer, 8 feet or 7 feet, I guess. And 6, 50% taller than the bylaw allows. I think, I guess where I'm kind of going with this is I think that garden suite is not in keeping with what the bylaw anticipated and could well pose some impact problems, especially for the immediate neighbors, and they pointed it out to us. So anyway, that's just my observation.
I have a general comment as well. I agree with many of things that have been said here. We as residents of this city do have some as-of-right options. We do have as-of-right options for multiplexes. We do have as-of-right options for garden suites. However, it's the size, the scale, the look, the feel, and all the 4 test elements that we have to consider for ourselves. So if this building and the garden suite were made within the footprint as permitted in the city for any of us, that would be one thing. However, I do share the concerns about the garden suite, the size of it, and whether the variances aren't indeed minor. To me, they aren't necessarily so. So on balance, the intensification of the city is definitely a concern. However, in this particular case, I think some of the sizing, some of the variances being sought just go a little bit too far. That's my sense of it.
Ms. Ruddick, do you have any comments or observations?
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way with respect to the garden suite, and I think, like, I'm all for intensification, but I think it has to be, it still has to be in keeping with the neighborhood, and I think kind of gentle as well. And I think there are a lot of intensification happening within as of right structure, so it's not necessary to intensify and have variances way beyond, and I think I'm concerned about them being minor as well, way beyond what is the as of right requirements in the bylaw. So I'm leaning towards saying that I don't find them to be minor in nature and not consistent with the 4 tests, and I'm moving, if nobody has any comments, to reject the application.
Before you do that, can we ask staff if we can split this baby? Can we approve the first 2 and deny the last 4? I mean, it may not fly, but
You could.
okay. Just wanted to see if that was an option. I mean, the
So
one.
approve 1 to 4 only? Is that what you're suggesting?
1 to 2. I mean, one of the things I do respect about this application is that they're at least trying to preserve and improve the parking situation, and I know they don't have to in a lot of the new as-of-right applications, and in Etobicoke, we're not yet where the downtown Toronto is. I think it's still good to have that, so that's one of the positive things out of this, but yeah, I'm just feeling some discomfort around the garden suite in terms of the intensity there.
If that's allowed and it's a friendly amendment, I'm fine to revise it to reject variances 3 to 6.
So under that scenario, the applicant would have the option to either build the garden suite in accordance with the zoning bylaw per variances 4, 5, and 6, or appeal our decision.
Well, the garden suite could not be built the way it's being proposed.
Right. But he could build it without variances if he.
I suspect on this site, it's not going to work
Exactly.
without variances.
The lot's too tight for this scale of garden suite. I mean, he could reconfigure it and make it a lot smaller than he wants, like a small one bedroom or something.
Yeah, I don't know how people feel about that. I think, you've got the option to go to approve the main dwelling, or we just reject the whole thing. I think that's what's.
I think, usually we reject the whole thing. I'm not used to dividing things up,
Yeah.
but my concern as well is with the garden suite. So, I'm not opposed to dividing it up, but otherwise I just do our usual practice of rejecting it as is.
I'd be okay approving variances 1 to 3 and refusing 4 to 6.
It's 1 to 2.
sorry.
3 pertains to the
Just
garden
1 and
suite.
2.
Yes,
Yeah.
3 to 6.
And he's got to do he'd have to do a whole rethink on the garden suite or appeal it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to move the motion?
Sure. I'm moving a motion to approve variance 1 and 2 and to reject variance requests 3, 4, 5, and 6.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion duly seconded that we approve variances 1 and 2.
And urban forestry.
Oh, sorry, yeah, urban forestry.
Oh,
condition
subject to
one.
urban forestry condition 1, and we refuse variances 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's the motion that has been made and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, so that motion carries 4 to 1. Variances 1 and 2 have been approved. So we're okay with the front yard setback and the maximum permitted height of the main pedestrian entrance, that's 0.07 meters different. We're okay with that. But we have refused all of the variances related to the garden suite. And urban forestry condition
So
1.
that walkout still might not be a given because forestry's going to have to deal with that anyway.
Yep. Okay, so I think we're done. Motion to adjourn. Oh,
No. So in your agenda listing, there was listed as other business. We're going to do it
Oh, yeah.
next time. You had previously in June deferred an application where there was a request by the applicant to close the file. So I'm not sure why that happened. I have the minutes in front of you on the screen. And then we have the email from the applicant requesting that the file be closed. So can I just get a motion? This is for 3668 Weston Road to close the file, no refund.
okay, can we have a motion to close that file?
I'll bring that motion to close the file. Thank you. And no refund.
Close the file, no refund. Seconder? Ms. Ruddick, all in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, that motion's approved unanimously.
Yeah, but it didn't have to be.
Now can we adjourn? Okay, who's going to make the motion to adjourn?
I'll do that.
All in favor? This meeting is adjourned at 5:35 PM. See you next time. What? You should what?